In the past few days, China's capital has recorded its heaviest rainfall in at least 140 years.
The Beijing Meteorological Bureau says the city recorded 29.3 inches of rain between Saturday and Wednesday morning. Chinese authorities say the torrential rains around Beijing have destroyed roads, knocked out power, and caused at least 21 deaths and left 26 people missing. Thousands have been evacuated to shelters in schools and other public buildings in suburban Beijing and in other cities. It's unknown how many people are trapped in flood-stricken areas in the city and surrounding villages. I'm Charles Tulatasma.
Iran's paramilitary Revolutionary Guard has launched a surprise military drill on disputed islands in the Persian Gulf. It comes just as the U.S. increases its presence in the region as a result of recent ship seizures by Tehran. News and analysis at townhall.com. General Motors announcing a vehicle recall, and once again, it has to do with those Takata airbag inflators.
Those airbags could explode and hurl shrapnel in a crash. The recall covers certain Chevrolet Camaro, Sonic, and Volt vehicles, as well as the Buick Verano, all from the 2013 model year. The company says the driver's front airbag inflator can explode in a crash due to a manufacturing defect. The inflators are among a group made by Takata that is under investigation by the agency but has not previously been recalled. John Scott reporting.
Citing skyrocketing federal debt, along with a steady deterioration in standards of governance over the past 20 years, Fitch Ratings has downgraded the U.S. government's credit rating, knocking it down a notch from AAA to AA+. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen and the White House taking issue with the decision by that leading ratings agency. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Wednesday.
Yeah, buddy.
Welcome to the middle of the week.
Halfway day, hump day, whatever day you want to call it.
And not to put a crimp on people's brigade today, especially kids. Your teachers reported back to work officially today.
Now they've started making plans for you. They know you're coming, and now they're making plans for you.
Yeah, my wife had to get up to an alarm for the first time in a while.
I don't know why anybody who wasn't a teacher who lives with a teacher had to set an alarm this morning because they just woke up to...
Yeah, I didn't need my alarm. I got up.
The sound of my frustrated wife.
Actually, my wife's alarm, because I'm not sure whose went off first.
Yeah.
I think hers, because her clock's like a minute faster, mine probably went off first. I heard that and woke up.
Do either of you have an annoying alarm, or is it just like a ding, 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 ding?
Mine's the iPhone. So I use whatever that doom, 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 doom music thing is.
Okay.
That's what. Hers is the
See, that's
alarm clock.
I have a friend whose alarm is I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why do you want to wake up hating life?
Do people still wake up to like the radio? like when I was a kid, you had an alarm clock. Like it was that
Right.
GE alarm clock that everybody had in the 1980s.
You could, for some reason, slap it shut.
It had a big snooze button.
It did.
But that my alarm always was to the radio because I was a radiophile. I used to
Right.
Stern and all that. So whenever mine went off, it was going off to the radio.
I don't own an actual radio anymore, which is sad to say.
Yeah.
I don't own a home radio anymore, so I don't do that.
You should at least get one.
It'd be hard to like set up my Bluetooth to like
You'll
trigger
get
the
a
radio.
cheapo $20 boxer just to sit up on
No,
the...
my plan is that I wake up to my ringtone because at least that makes me think I'm getting a phone call. You know, at least in
See,
that scenario.
I learned the lesson many, many years ago. Never use music as your ringtone. And
Really?
here's why. Because the first time I did it, I was like, oh, let me pick my favorite songs and all that. It ruins my favorite songs. Because now every time the thing, I think of a phone call rather than my favorite song. I'm like, ooh, I got a phone call. And I don't like getting phone calls.
That's actually mentioned in a song. It's like I love this song so much I made it my ringtone or my alarm, and now I hate my phone. But my ringtone is my alarm, and it's mostly just because I like it. And see if I can get it to play. Hang on, we'll play.
Oh yeah, I've heard that sound 1,000 times.
It's relaxing, you know. And I can listen to it a couple times. What it does though, it'll gradually get louder.
Oh.
And it's easier to wake up to that when I have my kids in my house because I'm like, oh, I have to get it off before they wake up. Because it gets loud. You can hear it throughout the whole house.
Yeah, I can imagine once as it hits, first it's quiet. Hey, wake up. And it's like, get out of bed!
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So, happy Wednesday. Whatever your alarm is, hopefully you made it and got up and listened to it and got up and got ready. If not, you're going to be late.
I just hope you're not waking up to the sound of these two idiots. You gotta be up, have some coffee, maybe some muesli before you get.
Maybe that's what we should
with
start
us.
our show every day. We turn on, as soon as I come on, I just go beep, 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 beep.
Well, you've heard how I start my show. Like I start my show on the country station, 99 The Brand, Monday through Friday, or Monday through Saturday, excuse me.
Ding.
I start my show with, I'm going to back up from the mic to you. And a good Wednesday morning to you, southeastern New Mexico. Like I scream at my listeners.
He does.
And my last tag, and I've done this for probably the last decade of radio that I've done, is my last thing I say on the first track is, morning to you.
Yep.
Like I'm not saying it meanly. It comes off meanly, but it's you're alert that it's the morning. Wake up.
Hello. Yes, it was the Adrian Cronauer School of Broadcasting.
That's right. You learn
Some people
from the
get
best.
that one. Well, he was a genius.
Hit him hard, hit him fast.
Yep.
It's not Vietnam I'm waking up. It's southeastern New Mexico, so
That's right.
It's equally as important.
Yeah, it's just it's funny. Like, just it's because I think most people that movie's either, oh yeah, I saw that, and you can think nothing about it. But people like Sean and I, radio
who are
people,
in the industry, yeah.
There's certain movies that you could just quote a line, and no matter what, people are going to know it. And Good Morning Vietnam's one of those movies that
if I look Mike
radio
in the eye
people
and
just
say,
like, oh, okay.
If I look Mike in the eye and say, "This is a soggy dream come true," you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it's just certain, and certain movies or TV shows. I mean, WKRP is like the unofficial
What's
television
funny about
show.
WKRP is I always get like one of three quotes. It's almost always
The turkey
drop, and that's actually the go-to almost always.
Sure, that's the one scene.
Yeah,
is the turkey
God is
drop.
my witness. I thought they could fly.
But in the radio world, like there's so many remote and transmitter jokes in those shows that hit a little home to radio people. That I think if you're not in the industry, it kind of went zoop, a little bit. But to us, like Les Nessman and Johnny Fever, those are really amalgamation personalities of all news people, all radio DJs, all sales guys, all radio station general manager. It really is an amalgamation of every one of them, because every person in radio knows a guy just like someone from WKRP.
I'd say WKRP nailed it. News radio tried, but they were more about the office humor than the radio station itself. They did pepper in a few, like Rocket Fuel Malt Liquor, still to this day one of my favorite things.
Yeah, that is a good one. Well, and to be honest, I think it's because of the actor who did it.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I think if The writing on that was meh, but the performance of the words made it better, if that makes sense.
It does.
Like if someone else did that character, I don't know if it'd be as memorable. I could be. I mean, because think about it. If you think about news radio, and there was Andy Dick, there was quite
Joe
a few,
Rogan was on there.
Yeah, there was
like
quite a few famous people. But who do we all remember the most from that show?
Of course.
You know, well, of course,
Phil Hartman.
Phil Hartman's no longer with us, so that might be part of it.
Troy
but,
McClure.
but he was by far he was carrying the heavy baggage for that show, as far as being the comedy and all that.
Right.
So anyway, I didn't even talk about the class action thing that I'm not supposed to talk about because Sean will get mad if everybody
honestly,
does
it's
it.
just if you keep telling people about it, the money's going to go down.
Yeah.
I know that there's a class action lawsuit you can get in on right now.
As
with
many
Facebook.
sources as is out there, I don't feel that worried that my telling it is going to move the needle that much.
I don't know, man. You made an impact last night at National Night Out.
Yeah. Packed crowds out there.
Packed, so packed, I didn't even get to stay.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad a lot of people got to go out. I mean, I'm sad you didn't get to stay, but I mean, I'm glad that people came out.
Yeah, the kids were fine. I'm good. It just gave me more couch time.
I know it teased us with rain all day, but I don't think it actually rained at all, did it?
No, it was just moist.
Yeah.
It was humid.
I think
all
down
day.
Eddy County in that area, they got hammered. but
We
not
did
us.
get a couple of drops. I did remember seeing a few drops. Literally, as I was driving, we were driving to the aquatic center to go to National Night Out. I saw some drops in the window. And that was why I thought Rhiannon wouldn't get to swim. Not the fact that everyone in Roswell went to National Night Out.
Yeah. Yeah, well, either way, it was a packed crowd.
It was. It was indeed.
I thought it was going to rain. I mean, I was like, ooh, maybe.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Big ups to the Roswell Police Department, the Sheriff's Department, and all the member organizations for putting that event together and making it a huge success.
It is, and we look forward to next year's.
I can't wait to see what the nationwide numbers are. Like, as everybody reports their numbers.
And I know not every community does it on that Tuesday. Some move it to a weekend, or some, don't do it at all.
Right.
But it is a national. It's generally that first Tuesday in August is the National Night Out night, and so it's universally celebrated across the country.
It's always cool to me when we do something collectively as a nation. Like, did you do Hands Across America?
I remember Hands Across America.
Did you participate?
I believe I did, yeah.
Okay, because we did. Now, I know we didn't reach Hands Across America. I'm sure there were wide gaps, especially in the Bible Belt.
Yeah.
But we did. In Medill, we actually had a pretty good chain of people.
Okay.
I want to say it was like not everybody in town came out necessarily, but we had probably a good solid 700 to 800 people.
Yeah. I seem to remember. I don't remember a lot, but I remember something. We doing something in school or something. I don't remember all. It was
people who were born in 1995 were like, "What are you talking about?"
At that point in my youth, I was like, "This is part of the routine. I don't care." Whatever.
I was a little kid. It was, to me, it was like. It was really cool because Michael Jackson was talking about it. So I'm like, well, I'm totally in if Michael's in. I want to be like Mike. Not even the Mike you're thinking of. I want to be like another Mike.
Yeah, not the Jordan.
Hopefully not always, but
I want a bank account like Mike.
All right.
But yeah, I kind of remember that. So. I'll talk about the loss because it's a thing, and I don't feel like talking about it right now.
Just give me time to sign up.
Maybe next hour.
There you go.
Let me give you the rundown here. I know we're supposed to have the chamber on at 7. This is their normal slot, but someone's on vacation, so I'm pretty sure no one's going to be. So that's why I was like, I'm not even going to. But that normally, so we got replays today. Our guest is not available. So
I feel like she vacations way better than anybody else too. Like she like we go on vacation. She goes on vacation.
Yeah, I do. I don't even really know what vacation is. I don't.
I know what's that. What is vacation?
I take off work to do things for other people. I don't do anything for me.
Vacation? Am I saying that right?
Is that a hard V or?
Vato what?
I can help with the Pam pants. So this hour we're going to play. Yesterday we had Jennifer Smith from the Chaves County Health Council and Rick Lamb from Boys and Girls Club talking about the Health Expo, which is this Saturday. Big event, another big tent pole Roswell event.
That's how I know my birthday is coming. It's always like right around health fair season.
There you go. I do 2 things. Never mind. So we're going to play that interview for you here in just a bit. In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15 on Monday, John Amaste with he's with Old Lincoln Days joined us, and also this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the sweet cool pines of Lincoln, New
20
Mexico.
to 30 degrees cooler.
Yes, it's Old Lincoln Days, Last Escape of Billy Kid pageant weekend.
It's
all of
already
that's
that time
going
of
on.
year.
This weekend. So we're gonna replay our interview with John Amaste to tell you all about that.
I'm gonna get it going. I'm gonna get going.
And I might be butcher's name, but I said it like way, and he said close enough. So
Right.
I don't know what it really is, but it's close. Ain't close enough. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, we're going to replay our interview. Ted Smith, Walker Aviation Museum, came in and swapped stories with us. People like there's usually a couple interviews that people consistently, I like when you have that so-and-so on. Walker Aviation and John from Oasis Computers. Two people that I sometimes think, oh, that moves the needle. Moves the needle.
Be darned. People love talking tech.
Yes. So we're going to
talked
play our
tech.
interview with Ted, talking about Walker Aviation Museum, swapping stories, and just give an update on what's going on over there. So,
Nice.
and he brought donuts.
He did.
He did bring donuts.
Yep. And there's still actually some there.
Is there?
I think there's like a cake donut still in there. It's
Well,
probably
it sparked a slight fight. Because I goaded it because I already knew Sean's stance on cake donuts.
I'm a fan.
And when I heard Roy say he didn't like cake donuts, I was like, oh, really? I was like, have you met Sean?
He said he didn't like them because they're thick. They're too thick. I'm like, so you judge your donuts the way you judge your women?
So that started a whole debate. But
He's like, let me come into the room to defend myself at least. Roy Henley Smith.
did you put up on the thing, Roy hates cake donuts?
No, but I guarantee my next lower third is gonna be like cake lover, 3 exclamation points.
Keeper of the cake donut. Sorry, Roy, defend yourself.
No,
Present.
no, I actually tried the cake donuts, and they're from Dunkin', and they're actually pretty good.
Oh, now he's on Team Cake Donuts.
All right.
Now
There you go.
Now-
you converted him.
I gotta say though, if you're
They're different
judging,
from most cake donuts that I've had.
if you're judging your cake donut based on Dunkin's cake donut, you need to go to like a Roswell Donuts. They have like Dunkin' is fine. They're fine for what they are. But a local donut shop where they're actually putting love in with their grease.
Comes in a 50-pound bag.
That's right. Love, they actually keep it's like next to the MSG.
It's Courtney Love, but that's different.
Those cake donuts are phenomenal.
Okay. Well, these ones were actually fluffy.
They were pretty
Wow.
good.
Like usually they're hard and like from other
Especially
places.
if you leave them for like a half a day.
Yeah, fresh. If you get them fresh, they're always soft. It's when you eat them hours later that they aren't so freshy.
Yeah.
Right.
But, well, good. I'm glad we had a kumbaya moment here. He's now on the cake. Now, and here's the thing, because I do this because I know Sean. Sean and I have had the debate. Cake donuts are fine. Everyone loves cake. They're fine. I'll eat a cake donut. But I prefer the traditional raised donut. I love the airiness.
The pillowiness
of the pilliness with the chocolate frosting. And to me, that's a 10. And I love cake donuts as they taste fine. I'll eat them, but I prefer the raised.
No, I'm like you, but opposite. I'm fine with a raised donut. Personally speaking, when it comes to like the chocolate covered raised donut, this is a weird thing to say, but I kind of like them older.
Do you?
Like I like when the chocolate has a chance to kind of like solidify on top, and it
It's
makes
like
that
a
kind of like shell.
magic shell crust on it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Is magic shell still the thing?
Oh yeah, there's
Is
like 7 flavors now.
Oh, really?
They have like a pineapple. They have all kinds.
I remember when that came out in the 80s, and that blew people's minds. Like chocolate syrup that hardens and forms like a protective layer on your ice cream. What is this about?
Magic food really did have a surgence in the 80s.
It did. It was a thing.
Food that did things. Like I remember there was a big run on like Kool-Aid that changed colors.
Oh, yeah.
Like it was red, but then you poured water in it, would turn blue.
Yeah. Someone did science.
We loved gastronomy back in my day.
I used to eat all the Skittles and then spit them on the ground to see what color spit I could make. I was a scientist too.
The sidewalk was tasting the rainbow that
Like if
day.
you eat the purple one and the yellow one, you get a weird greenish color.
That's how Mike learned about secondary colors.
All right, 7:22. Here's your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have a little bit of that humid air moving into our area today, so we could get a few afternoon showers or thunderstorms. It will stay hot. Our afternoon high just over 100, and we get a mix of sun and clouds. Low to mid 70s and partly cloudy for the overnight hours. Maybe an afternoon shower on Thursday, but our rain chances are fairly low. We'll be getting sunshine and our high 100 to 105. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 72 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 64%. Winds are calm at the moment. We do have another rain chance for this afternoon, a 20% chance at afternoon showers and thunderstorms, mostly sunny. Highs around 101 today with south winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Partly cloudy tonight with an overnight low of 73 degrees, south winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday, once again, we're looking at an afternoon chance at rain showers, mostly sunny with a high of 103 and a 20% chance of afternoon rain showers, south winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday night, partly cloudy with an overnight low of 73. Friday, sunny with a high of 105, southeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Weekend's going to be scorching. Sunny and 107 on Saturday, sunny and 106 on Sunday. And then we'll be floating in the 101 on Monday, 104 on Tuesday. No really talk of rain. Looking at today's weather, the weather forecast, the last chance of rain talks are Thursday afternoon. So we'll see. All right, 7:24. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break, and then we're going to play our interview we had with Jennifer Smith from the Chaves County Health Council and Rick Lamb from the Roswell Boys and Girls Club talking about the big health fair and bubble run this Saturday. That's up next. Don't go away.
The Rehabilitation Center at Artesia General Hospital offers a variety of services led by experienced licensed therapists, including physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy. Their multidisciplinary team provides a complete evaluation with the full support of your primary care provider to develop a custom plan to support your personal goals and recovery needs. These treatment plans help manage symptoms, educate patients and their families, and ultimately get back to the activities that bring you joy. Learn more at artesiageneral.com/rehab.
Let's face it, guys, we're living in times where the truth is becoming more suppressed and censorship is increasing at an alarming rate, especially on social media platforms. It's Clyde, and I want to tell you about a safe and secure digital playground we put together just for you. It's aftermath.media. You get access to thousands of Ground Zero archives and podcasts, along with our private social media groups with your basic membership starting at only $7 a month. Each subscription includes tech support, access to the RSS feeds, along with our own chat room and Telegram channel. In addition, the premium membership includes research study groups, webinars, a document and movie library, a live video stream of Ground Zero, a monthly Zoom chat with me, and other bonus content. Be sure to check out our yearly specials as well. Sign up today while you're thinking about it. Sign up at aftermath.media. Again, that's aftermath.media.
Do you struggle with acne, eczema, or worry about skin cancer? Research suggests that 1 in 5 Americans will develop skin cancer by the age of 70, but when detected early, 99% of skin cancer cases are curable. At Epiphany Dermatology of Roswell, we place special emphasis on prevention, screening, and treatment, so schedule your annual skin exam by calling us at 575-208-7050 or by visiting our website at epiphanydermatology.com and get checked today. Prevention is key.
The average American spends 2.5 days a year looking for lost items. We aren't sure how long Europeans and Asians look for lost stuff. We lost the list. Here's Mike Winters.
Joining us in studio this morning, Jennifer, back with the Chaves County Health Council, and then Rick with Boys and Girls Club back with us as well. Good morning, guys.
Morning.
How's, I know probably a little bit of running around with like a chicken with your head cut off this week. Because Saturday, we're days away now.
Yes.
Last time we talked, we're weeks. Time before that, we're like months out. Now, we're days away. This Saturday is the annual Chaves County Health Expo, and it's going to be taking place mostly at the Roswell Convention and Civic Center. It kind of kicks off around the Roswell Convention and Civic Center. We're going to start early with the Bubble Run, which is all the Boys and Girls Club fun run. Come out with bubbles, just dress up, just... you want to be serious? You can. but most people will not be. And you have to understand, they're just coming and having fun. But we're raising money for the Boys and Girls Club, and we're also, doing healthy stuff. And so that's going to kind of kick off Saturday, right? I don't think there's much earlier before you guys, right?
Nope, we start, we start check-in and, final purchases for tickets if you want to jump on at the last minute at 6:30, and then the race starts at 7 a.m.
Very good. You can, I know if you go to the Chaves County Health Council Facebook page, you'll find links to register for the bubble run. Also, if you want to get some of the screenings that we'll tell you about here in a minute, you definitely want to make sure you listen up for some of that too. So we'll get you that information in a minute. But if you want to sign up for the run, it's not too late. You can still sign up.
You still can sign up. There's no guarantee that we're going to have shirts anymore because we've already placed that order.
Yes.
But you can jump onto either the Health Expo Facebook page or the Boys and Girls Club Facebook page. They both have links to get you over to those tickets to purchase them.
So then once you register, where do they need to be at what time on Saturday?
So 6:30 is when you start check-ins.
Okay.
So you want to probably be there around that time.
And where are you guys gathering at?
We're going to be right there by the convention center, like we were right between the convention center and the museum.
Okay, perfect. So you see a gathering of people there, park your car in one of the lots there, and see the gathering of people about 6:30 in the morning. Probably not going to be a whole lot of else people out at 6:30 in the morning, except for our runners. So they'll be easy to spot.
Exactly.
They'll be the ones wearing all the bubbles and weird stuff. But yeah, come bring the whole family. This is a fun run. So bring your friends, bring as many as you want. Sure, if you want to be serious and try to break records, by all means, knock yourself out. But really, this is all about raising awareness, getting some exercise, raising awareness for Boys and Girls Club here, and getting out and being a part of your community. So, and by the time you're done running everything, you'll be good and ready to get into the air conditioning of the convention center and do some of the other events that are part of the health fair.
As long as you bring a change of clothes, because you are going to get wet.
Yeah, you are going to, of course. What is this supposed to be on Saturday? 10 what? Of course, at that time of the morning, but
still be about 80 degrees at that point in time.
But I figure you just hang outside for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
you're not wet anymore.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Or you're sweaty wet. And
exactly.
But we'll bring a change of clothes, and you don't have to worry about that. But in case you do get, bubblies and stuff, and look, all that, and you do actually sweat and get dirty because you are running.
Exactly.
You're doing physical activity. But then right after that, kind of when that, then everything will be kind of kicking off there in the actual convention center itself. I know if you want to take advantage of some of the screenings, you need to pre-register and do that now. Don't wait till Saturday. For instance, if you want a mammogram, you probably need to go to the Health Council's Facebook page and click that link to sign up to get an appointment for your mammogram.
Yes,
there at the event.
Yeah, it's important for the mammograms to sign up early, especially if you're needing to utilize the funding that we have.
Okay, yeah, if you don't have insurance.
Yeah, if you don't have insurance, or maybe you have a really high deductible on your insurance, it can help pay for those costs.
Yeah.
So, and you need to sign up early because we'll run out of space.
Especially if you don't have insurance that's going to pay for it, you should be there.
Yes.
At least if you have insurance, schedule it and get it done. But if you don't, come. Please sign up. Get online and sign up. But get out there, and if you're in the window where you're the age window where you're supposed to be having your regular mammograms and all that, this is the easiest thing you can do to avoid it. Because, yes, breast cancer can be really bad. And some of the, but if you detect it early, it's not a big deal. It literally, it's like colon cancer is the same way. It's that if they spot it early, it's a minor inconvenience. If they don't and you let it go unchecked, it's a death sentence. And it's too easy to just go have a mammogram. So please, if you don't have insurance or whatever, then by golly, sign up for this free one. That way you at least know where you stand right now, and we can worry about the rest later. But get that done, get that checked, especially if you haven't had one in a while.
Yeah, this is a great time because, you don't have to wait months for an appointment.
Yeah.
You can just get on our Facebook page, find the link to sign up, and you're ready to go for Saturday, and it's done.
Yeah, absolutely. So get it done, and if it has been a while, the equipment is a lot. Since they've entered the digital world here, I'm not saying it's a day at the park, because yes, they still squeeze and pinch and all that, but it's not as bad, and it's much more detail. That a little less comfortable or less uncomfortable, I should say. But the digital imagery that they get, it's far superior. And
they're doing 3D ones.
And to be honest, when these first came out, people were getting a lot of false, because they're seeing so much more, and they're like, I'm seeing things, I have no idea what it is. We need to dig further. It's a lot of nothing. Turned out it was no big deal, but because the imagery is so much better, they're seeing a much clearer picture of what's going on there, and they were literally seeing things they've never seen before because they didn't have the ability to see it. That's why. And now with these mammograms, they can. So, but I think they kind of worked that out now. So when you go to a mammogram, for a while there, if you're getting a mammogram, there's a lot of women that were scared, and men too, that were getting them because they're like, hey, we're seeing a little something. We need to do follow-up. And, of course, our brain goes right to cancer, but please get that done. Don't forget, too, if you're going to do some of the, screenings for diabetes, the blood sugar screenings, don't forget, you have to fast for those. So if you just roll up and have a big old breakfast at Denny's and then roll in to the thing to get your glucose screen, you're not going to get an accurate reading. It's a waste of your time. Don't do that. But if you want to do the screenings and make sure you see your blood sugar, or seeing if you're pre-diabetic or close or maybe out of that window, you can do. But you got to do the 12-hour fasting and all that stuff. No drinking after midnight or eating after midnight and all that stuff. The blood mobile will be there too, so you can sign up now for blood if you want. If you're in your window to donate blood, or you haven't donated blood in a while, and like to donate blood. Great way to do that. Come out, they'll have the blood mobile out there, and you sit in their real comfy little chair bed thingies, and they feed you cookies and tea and stuff afterwards, and you're really. This is I tell people all the time. I try to say this on the radio. One of the simplest things you can do that has the greatest impact on helping others is donating blood. It costs you nothing, really. It costs you 40 minutes of sitting around waiting for them to take a pint out of you. And after that, they load you with goodies, and then you go home. But that pint of blood you just donate is going to save a life in a week or two. And that's just what's going to happen. And you can do that every couple months. So if you want to get help, be someone that helps out, but you're like, I'm not working in the ditch. I'm not going to work a cake line or nothing. Go donate blood. It's a great way to do that. And plus, you get to learn about you. When they do your screenings, you'll find out about your blood pressure, blood type, and they also do some screenings within your making sure you're able to donate blood. And so get an appointment.
Yes,
they will take walk-ins, but I'm guessing at that festival or at the health fair, it's going to be pretty much by appointment because it's probably going to be stacked the whole time. There's people out there.
They're trying to get everybody to sign up early.
Yeah.
We have all the information for that also on our Facebook page, or they can call 211 if you don't have Facebook. That's the perfect way to get information is call 211.
And that's everything we talked about. If you're like, where's that bubble run thing? Call 211 and they'll be happy to do that.
Yeah.
Too. So what's some of the other screenings and things I may have missed that we want to kind of highlight or spotlight?
I know that most of them, they'll do basic blood pressures and things like that.
Ones that really don't require any prerequisite work on you. It's just, hey, roll up your sleeve. Let's see what's going on there.
Yeah, just to see where you are. And it's just going to be a lot of information on where you can go to, get a doctor, get a primary care if you don't have one, know what's in town.
Yeah, you get to meet all the different, because a lot of our health-related businesses and industries are going to be there talking about their services and things. So if you're thinking, I'm looking for a good behavioral health specialist, come on out. You get to shop around and talk to people. Or you're like, hey, I love my doctor, but they're so busy, and I never get to say, maybe I can find, you know what I mean? If that's whatever your story is, or maybe it's, I'm in that window. I'm in my 50s, and last time I saw a doctor was, the health fair about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Then it's time for you to come.
Yeah, definitely come out and see. There's probably some new doctors in town.
I would be willing to guess. But there's also a lot of other, so if you want to learn more about community-based stuff, there's going to be a lot of those tents and things. Like, you want to learn more about Boys and Girls Club, come on out. When you're done running and everything, you can come and learn more and talk about opportunities for your children through Boys and Girls Club, through the after-school program, or now that we're kind of getting out of the summer phase and getting into the school phase. So priorities and your curriculum really takes a shift during that time, from summer back to kind of back to school time.
Definitely does. Yep.
So if you want to get into some of the back to school and fall activities, now's the time to start talking to Boys and Girls Club. Maybe, hey, your children hit that age and like, I got to pick them up from school and work. How do I navigate that? Boys and Girls Club might have a solution for you.
Yeah.
So talk to them. Speaking of that, speaking of the update, what do you guys, what's planned for the fall? What do you guys, what's coming up here? Anything you want to kind of spotlight or let public know about?
I think one of the biggest things is we're $20 a month this year, and that includes all days. We've got some really good programs that are being put together, which I'm really excited for. But we pick up from 8 different schools. So we do Pecos, Nancy Lopez.
You guys are really grown.
Yeah, so we wanted to give families around here the best possible chance to have their kids be able to come to the club and be able to enjoy what we have there in all the different programs that we do. And so we decided $20 a month, and that, like I said, includes all days. So let's say Labor Day comes up and you're trying to figure out what you do with your kid. If you've paid that $20 for that month and you're coming like you're supposed to,
sure,
you get to drop them off, and you don't have to pay anything extra.
You weren't fortunate enough to get Labor Day off. You had to work.
No, I get to work that day.
But I'm just saying, like, if you, the public, my kid's off school, but I got to work, so we can't go anywhere. So guess what?
Yep.
Come to Boys and Girls Club, and they can hang out with their friends and kind of get involved in the curriculum. And that's just it. That's the cool part about Boys and Girls Club. Yes, there's the counselors and things that kind of keep everything above board, but it's especially the older kids. It's more curriculum based by the kids. The kids kind of plot and plan the activities they want to do and how they do it, and so it's kind of that learning tool as well. The younger kids kind of it's social. It's there's a lot of things that we need to teach our children or get our kids involved in that you can't just teach on your own or just you as a parent. You need to get them. Boys and Girls Club is one of those things that really teaches your kids some of those things that you as a parent just can't say, here's a book, read it, and now you know how to work with people. You know what I mean? You got to let them get in the sandbox and play a little bit.
Exactly.
And the Boys and Girls Club is a sandbox that lets them do that. and obviously, as they're younger, then it's more adult run. But as you get some of the teenagers and things, it's kind of more on them to decide what direction some of the activities and things they do go on and where they want to take it. Do they want to turn it into something kind of like a project or a business or something, or is it just, hey, we want to do fun games and activities? It's choice is theirs.
Yep.
So, but anyway, learn more about that. There will be school supplies given away on a first come first serve basis. Yes. That's always a big deal with and kind of the big carrot dangle that gets people to come out, and because believe it or not, people aren't rushing to get their cholesterol checked. There ain't people on Saturday, baby, cholesterol check.
Yes.
Woo! They're not doing that.
Yes.
But they may like, wait a minute. Oh, free backpacks and school supplies for my kids? I'm there,
Yeah.
So, yes, that's why we're doing it. And then when you get the back, go get your cholesterol checked.
Yeah, Western Sky Community Care is bringing over 250 backpacks, and then most of the vendors are bringing backpacks as well.
Sweet.
So we're going to have a lot. We're hoping over 300 backpacks, and we have other prizes too. So it's not just prizes for kids.
Sure.
We do have prizes for kids. We got bikes. We have tech gifts, and we also have stuff for adults too.
And if I remember right last time, y'all got some sweet bikes this year. You were talking about last time. I guess you got a donation or able to procure some bikes that'll be highly coveted by your kids.
Yes. So we purchased the bikes this year from Moonrock Outfitters.
Okay.
And so they're a higher quality bike this year. So they're much nicer, and
are these
they'll
more
last
like
longer.
Dirt, like with the big knobby tire? You know what I mean? Okay.
No, they're just regular bikes, but they're better.
Okay. I just hear like
they're not
mountain
the
biking.
Walmart specials.
Gotcha. Check out my jump. Yeah. The fork just bent that way.
Yeah.
Not that I know anything about that as a kid, jumping things. No, nothing.
We've never done that.
No. I always wore my helmet.
That's right.
What helmet?
Right. Exactly.
No helmet.
I didn't know they had helmets till I was 30.
Yeah.
What's a helmet, kid, Dad? I don't know. Something they put on people's heads. Yeah, I get you. But Yeah, you're right. Come out and see everything that's part of the health fair, and yes, kid centric. But by the way, too, if you need the shots and stuff, getting your kids up to date, ready for that, there's resources to help you navigate through all of that at the Health Expo as well, too.
Yes.
If you do have your kids' shot records, bring them. That will make that process a little bit easier, so they can know, okay, we're good to go and all that. And I think if you don't have them, I think you can go talk to the New Mexico Department of Health. If your child is in New Mexico, every person that's in New Mexico has shot records. Now, unfortunately, if you're from Texas or from another state and you're new, they can't get those. But if you are New Mexico, been here a while, and they got a history on you, then they got it.
Yeah, New Mexico Department of Health will be there, and they'll have information on their Got Shots clinics that they have going on right now.
And of course, if the Department of Health said, they're probably going to be there with all of their services. So if it's the shot stuff, or if you need help with some of the financial or some of the other programs that are through the health department, they'll have experts there to kind of help you navigate through all that kind of stuff too. So again, that's not the part people going, yes, Department of Health, woo! It's backpacks in the run and all. That's what we're doing. I can't remember, we talked about it last time, but I was asked to confirm. Is the traveling or the walking colon going to be there this year?
Not this year.
No colon to walk through.
Not
Sorry.
this year. We're hoping to get them back next year, but not this year, unfortunately. Hey, everybody's going to be sad to not have it there, because it's fun.
It's fun. They ever really get to crack dumb jokes, and it's just earlier I was saying I think they should update it. Now that the Creed movies and everyone loves Rocky movies, I think we should call it the Polyp Punch Out, and basically make the big tunnel, but then make like the polyps kind of like those punching bags in Rocky. You know what I'm talking about? And so as you're going through and you see a polyp there, you can just and goes kind of and you polyp punching, and we just remind people to punch out polyps.
New campaign.
See, I think that should be the next level of the strolling colon. So, but here's the thing, folks. Everything's going to kind of kick off early here. The race, everything starts at 6:30. Is about 8 or so when everything kind of opens up in the convention center.
Yeah,
there.
the expo itself starts at 8 a.m.
Yes,
and we run until 12. We'll start doing our giveaways at 11.
Okay.
And if you enter for the giveaways, you've got to be there.
Yes, you must be present to claim your prize.
If you're not there and we call your name, we're just going to move on to the next one, and you're going to miss out on some really, really good stuff.
Yeah. So,
and all of our vendors, there's a lot that are going to be doing their own giveaways at their table.
Yeah. So you can little we call it side swag. You can win some side swag while you're walking around.
Yes, and there's always really great stuff that people are giving away.
That's
and
just
good information.
That's the thing is you just need to stroll through and meet all the booths. We can't really. There's so many different, and all of it is, it could be healthcare related, could be of life. It's all kind of in that quality of life vein of vendors and things. So
it's all health and wellness and making sure that you're good.
Like, don't you have some folks on hand? Like if you're retirement planning, things like that. There's that. So it's not all about heart and muscles, and it's about, hey, let's build your nest egg. Hey, let's that's all your health too. That's part of your mental health. You ever notice when you're not broke, you're happy? When you're broke, you're not happy?
Yes, I do.
Mental health. But that's it. This event is really, so if you're just thinking, well, it's not I don't need backpacks or anything like that, then come out, meet some of the different vendors, learn. Or get involved. If you're saying, hey, I'm new to the community, I'm looking for places to volunteer and get involved, you're going to find a whole platform of different organizations, both for-profit and non-profit, that'll be in one facility. You can talk to and listen and kind of say, you know what, I love what these folks are doing. I'd like to get more involved with that.
Yeah, definitely. And come hit up the Travis County Health Council, because we're always looking for new members to join.
Always looking for volunteers to serve.
Good in your community. It's the perfect place to be.
Absolutely. And I would imagine, too, I know most of your staff and things are, it's paid and things, but a lot of the programs and curriculum are community-based and things. So if you're like, hey, I love doing my hobby, or I love doing my thing, bring it to the Boys and Girls Club. Maybe they say, hey, we would love to have you do some things with the kids on woodworking or whatever your passion is. They're always looking for volunteers to kind of share their talents with the kids, kind of thing. Is that still?
So we're not so much taking volunteers as much as we'd like to right now, but we're always looking for ways to introduce new things to the kids.
Gotcha.
So, we have NMSU ICANN that comes by. We've had, the police department and the fire department. So we have different places come by and teach them different things as well.
Always looking for more of that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Good deal. And I'm sure if you want to learn more about with your kids and things, don't hesitate to reach out. If you just do the Boys and Girls Club search on, put Roswell or Southeast New Mexico in your Facebook there, it'll pop right up, and then you can, because I think the way you guys are kind of structured, you kind of cover Lincoln, Chavez, and so you got a bigger footprint than just Roswell.
Yeah, we cover Chavez and Lincoln County. So if you put in, Roswell Boys and Girls Club, whether or on Google. It'll pull up directly to our page, and then we've got a brand new website that you can go in and get specific information. Or if you jump onto our Facebook page, that'll give you information for both, but it'll still give you some good information.
Good deal. Excellent. So, yeah, that's just something, we all think of Roswell Boys and Girls Club. Yeah, that's the name and what we call it. But the way it's structured, really the Boys and Girls Club, it does. They cover Chavez, Lincoln County. Yep. So it's much bigger than Roswell. So folks in Dexter, Hagerman, Ruidoso, come talk. It's all part of the same family here. So, and then don't forget, this Saturday is the big health expo for 2023. If you need to get a mammogram, or you want to sign up for one of the screenings, or sign up for the bubble run here with, you still have time. Again, go on Facebook, look for Chavez County Health Council. Or if you want to sign up for mammary and stuff, you need to go to Chavez County. Boys and Girls Club would love to help you, but they have no links to get mammograms.
They'll point you back to us.
So you can go there, and then you can sign up. You'll see as you go down, you'll see all the different events, like for the blood drive. If you want to sign up, there's a link to get a blood drive appointment, or if you want to get the mammogram, sign up. There's a link there to get that. If you want to sign up for the bubble run, there's a link to take you to do that. But you got to get it done like today, because all this is happening Saturday. Saturday.
A lot faster than you think.
Yes. Absolutely.
It'll be here before you know it.
And now let me ask, this might be a dumb question. If someone just so happens, be like, oh, that's this weekend, I would love to have a booth at the event. Are we full?
Full.
Okay. I thought so, but I figured I'd ask.
Been full for the last month.
I figured, but I would just say, well, you never know. Somebody backs out or something changes at the last minute here.
We usually don't have anybody back out. Usually if they signed up, they're pretty committed to being there.
And there's a reason why they signed up quick. It's because a lot of folks do come out. This is an annual event. It's kind of tradition here, and families just know, back to school time. Guess what's happening before back to school? The health fair, so we can go and do the screenings, get the kids ready for school, get the some of the vouchers or some of the backpacks and things. By the way, Dad's gonna get scheduled for a colonoscopy, and we're gonna.
And if your kids need a haircut too, we've got the Olympian Beauty College is.
Are they doing cuts on site, or are they doing vouchers?
They're not doing cuts on site. They're going to do vouchers again.
Perfect.
So they're going to be handing those out. Go get you a free haircut for your kid.
I don't blame the convention centers. Like, man, we're not good at sweeping all that hair.
No, it's too much of a process.
Our floors don't slide the hair like the barbershop. It just gets stuck up.
That carpet just sucks it all.
Yeah, it doesn't get the that floor. It slides right off there. You just hose it down. It's good to go. But please, and if you've never been to the health fair, please make this your first one this Saturday. Like I said, 8 a.m. is when kind of the doors open and everything gets underway. It's over by noon. So if you come out at 2 and 3, guess what? You'll be like, dang, this health fair is kind of quiet. It's because it's over.
Yeah, usually we're out of there like 12:30.
Yeah, it's a half a day thing. So you've got the afternoon to do what you want. Maybe go out and enjoy some. Maybe you ran in the morning, go out and have a nice family picnic in the afternoon.
Get your back to school shopping done because it's tax-free weekend.
Yeah, tax-free weekends this weekend too. Yep. I forgot about that. So, get that done and take advantage of that. If you want the rules on that, you can go to the state's website. They've got because there's rules on like how much clothing is up to an X amount. Like, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending, you can't buy $10,000 shoes and get them tax-free.
No.
They won't let you do that. I don't know why can't my kid have $10,000 shoes and get? I'm just kidding, but no, there is limits on some of that. Yeah. There is. So if you're out there trying to buy Armani suits and trying to get them tax free, they're like, no, I don't think you need that for school. Sorry. But you want to buy other clothes that you wear every day, then those are good. So, is there anything about this weekend we missed? Anything we wanted to cover that I spaced out or just got sidetracked on?
No, just come out and have a good time.
Bring your family.
Support all the organizations that are.
Is there going to be some food trucks and things too, so people are hungry?
So the Stellar Satellite food truck is going to be out there.
Get your morning pick-me-up.
Yep. Get you some coffee. Get you some scones.
Nice.
Which are my favorite. They have tea, Italian sodas. They have all kinds of good stuff.
So
and it supports Travis County CASA.
Yeah, and if you're not familiar with CASA, they do 1,000 things. But the big thing they do is they're the voice for children in the courts. And
they're going to be out there, and they're going to have a booth, and you're not going to want to miss the CASA booth. They're going to have a puppy kissing booth with the courthouse facility dogs.
Oh.
So you're going to want to come out and visit with the dogs and get more get more information about maybe becoming a volunteer with CASA and helping kids in the foster care system.
Absolutely, yeah. And don't realize there's so many facets of that. It's not all about, yes, they need the court advocates, and that's the kind of the more the big focus. But there's so many programs working with the kids and helping them through their platform, getting them in touch with other resources and things. So
there's so many programs. We help kids, families, everybody.
Yeah, it's everything from the home skills and life skills and things like that to being the voice when there is the violence or those situations that do come up. So, but anyway, this Saturday everything's going 8 a.m. Be at by the parking lot there at 6:30 if you're wanting to do the bubble run and everything. Come ready to get wet.
Yep.
And no Armani suits for that unless you're just a little weird.
Yeah,
But
that would be an expensive run for you.
We're not going to judge you.
Not to mention uncomfortable. I mean, it is. It's. And granted, it's 6:30 in the morning. It's still going to be like 80 at that point. So I just, you do you. But come have fun with it. Beam it up. I'd love to see that. Like, get some videos. I'd love to see like some social media on Saturday of people with little photos and videos of their goofy outfits and their goofy little. Themed maybe, hey, I'd say pick themes. You guys be the Flintstones.
Yeah.
You guys go be, I don't know. I'm going to pick something more modern.
Jetsons?
Yeah. Jetsons. It's very modern. Future. But you know what I mean? Pick a theme, have fun with it. That's what it's all about. It's coming and raising some money for Boys and Girls Club, but for you getting out there, getting fun, getting physical, and just reminding folks to stay active. We always talk about the diet and everything else, but if you run and be active, when you make a mistake on your diet, because we all do, that makes it a little more forgiving. But
it's for the whole family too.
Yeah,
so it's for all ages. It's going to be fun. I'm sure kids are going to love the bubbles because. You can't go wrong with bubbles and kids.
I forgot to ask. It's all running, right? Feet. Can you do roller skates or bicycles, or is it all running?
I would consider probably just running this time, just because there is going to be all those bubbles. It's literally foam bogs.
Okay,
there's 3 of them.
So you might be handicapped with the bike.
Yeah, and we don't want that happening.
Okay, and that's why I just want to ask, because I know sometimes in fun runs, some people like to scoot or do other things. I was like, well, let me ask before we tell people on that. So it is recommended because of the bubble situation.
Yes,
that you go on foot. And you go with map in hand and Trek and go blazing the trail. Over here, boys. Come on. Good deal. Well, thank you guys, and we'll see y'all next week. We'll see you next week. She's going to be somewhere else. But
yep.
You're not leaving right. It's like Sunday afternoon. She's like, I'm on the plane. I'm out. See ya.
I'm actually leaving Sunday afternoon.
So
pretty close.
Yeah.
She's got to stop for dinner first.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, have fun. Enjoy your time. Your off time. That'll be great. Last hurrah before the fall here. So good deal. And of course, if anybody has any questions about anything we talked about here, Don't forget, Chaves County Health Council Facebook page probably has all the answers you have for anything here.
Yeah, you can message us there too.
Shoot a message if you don't find the answer, and someone will answer you too. You also find links for the Boys and Girls Club Fun Run in there, but don't forget, just type in Boys and Girls Club Southeast New Mexico,
Chaves
Lincoln County in the search, and it'll pop right up there on the search, and then you can like and follow that and stay up to date on things if you're interested in more about the programs and opportunities for your family through Boys and Girls Club.
And if you're not on Facebook, call 211.
Yes, 211, and don't forget 211. If you need to write it down, put it in your pocket, whatever you do, that number is available to you, not 24/7. Don't call it 2 in the morning, but if you have medical or health or just need information about that stuff. Maybe you're new to town and you're trying to find a doctor. Maybe you're like, I hear there's resources for free health care here and there, but I need to access it. How do I do all that? 211 is that number you call, and they put you in touch. Now, if you have a medical emergency, if you call it and say, my hand's on fire, go to the hospital. Yes. It's not for medical emergencies. But if you're like, hey, I'm due for some testing, who does that in this town? And they can do that. Or, hey, I need help with these assists. Anything that comes, even family service stuff. You're like, hey, my family needs, how do we get on with food stamps, and how do we get in that program, and how do we do that? Call that number, they'll tell you exactly what you need. 211 will point you in the right direction. Do that kind of stuff. And so that's what that number's for. It's not a 24/7 hotline. If it's an emergency or anything like that, continue to use 911. But if you're just like, hey, recommend me a doctor in town for hip surgery, they can put you in touch with the people you need to do on or anything like that. Or if you're just like, hey, I'm looking for resources on medications and how do I get discounts on beds and stuff. I always see stuff and who do I talk to? Call that number. They'll be happy to put you in touch with the people. Or if, like you hear some about the New Mexico Department of Health programs, like with the phones and tablets. You're like, I heard about that stuff, but I'm not really sure. Call 211. They can kind of put you in touch with the people to learn more about that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So that's what that number's for. So good deal. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
And have a good trip, and we'll see you Saturday, and then we'll see you next week as well. Too.
Definitely.
Good deal. All right. Stay cool.
Yes.
Hopefully one day I'm going to tell you to stay warm again. I know today I don't feel like we'll ever say that again, ever, because it's been 150 for 7 months straight now. But one day,
maybe,
I'm going to tell you to bundle up, and you're going to be thankful. All right.
News this hour from townhall.com.
Let's take a quick break.
I'm Rich Thomason. Former President Trump says his latest indictment, stemming from his questioning of the 2020 election, his other attempt by a corrupt Biden Department of Justice to meddle in next year's election. And the Trump campaign is chiming in.
It's calling the third indictment of the former president nothing more than the latest corrupt chapter in what the campaign characterized as a politically motivated witch hunt.
Correspondent Keith Peters says the Trump team is also asking why it took more than 2 years to bring the charges, which come in the midst of the campaign. The indictment also coincides with Republicans wrapping up their investigation of Biden corruption allegations. Trump attorney John Lauro accusing the government of trying to rush to judgment.
The bottom line is that they have 60 federal agents working on this, 60 lawyers, all kinds of government personnel, and we get this indictment and they want to go to trial in 90 days. Does that sound like justice to you?
He was on NBC's Today Show. Trump supporters question whether the former president could ever get a fair trial in a Democrat-dominated city like Washington, D.C., and the case has been assigned to an Obama-appointed judge. Mr. Trump still the front-runner among GOP presidential hopefuls. Real Clear Politics has him more than 35 points ahead of his closest rival. A couple of days before the government releases the July employment report, ADP checking in with a report of its own. The payroll processor says the U.S. economy generated 324,000 private sector jobs last month. The job market does remain robust in the face of Federal Reserve efforts to slow the economy by hiking interest rates. And watching Wall Street stocks deep in the red this morning, the Dow is down 184 points, the NASDAQ off 194. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Russian drones have slammed into port facilities in southern Ukraine along the border with NATO member Romania.
The Ukrainian military says Russian troops have hit port infrastructure in Ukraine's Odessa region with Shahed drones overnight. Officials say the strikes damaged a grain elevator and caused a fire at facilities that transport the country's crucial grain exports. Moscow's hammered the country's ports with strikes since leaving a deal that allowed Kyiv to export grain to world markets through the city of Odessa. Forces firing dozens of drones and missiles since July 17 at Odessa and smaller sea and river ports in the region that were used as alternative routes. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
China's capital has recorded its heaviest rainfall in at least 140 years over the past few days. More than 29 inches of rain has fallen. News and analysis at townhall.com. North America's largest solar panel recycling plant has opened its doors in Yuma, Arizona.
This comes just as the flow of used and spent solar panels sharply ramps up. We Recycle Solar can process 345,000 pounds of modules in a single day, or roughly 69 million pounds per year. The business sends about 60% of the panels for resale and reuse, and strips apart and repurposes the valuable materials like copper and aluminum. The goal is to address an anticipated tsunami of solar waste and keep it out of landfills. John Scott reports.
Following almost 2 weeks of silence, NASA has once again heard from its Voyager 2 space probe. An errant command severed contact, but now NASA has confirmed that the 46-year-old spacecraft is still out there and still operational. Now flight controllers will try to regain full control of the Voyager. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. Let's have a listen. What does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome.
Willkommen.
Yes. To hour number 2.
The deuce.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Bienvenidos.
Yes. I hear that on the Spanish station all the time. I know the punto is very important. Punto.
There's, and I've mentioned this before, but the way that the guy who does the tag for the Toyota commercials does it, it's so like swarthy and like, it's almost ASMR because he goes www.toyota.com. Toyota, adelante.
I think they have a new one now. But,
I'm sorry, but the way he says adelante.
It is sexy. It is sexy.
It's no like, dog food for Victor tonight.
Yeah, come see my den with with many shelves of rich mahogany.
Corinthian leather.
Corinthian leather and smells of mahogany.
Made from the freshest and finest ingredients. Grown and sourced from the Jalisco Hills.
Cannonball.com. Sorry, Anchorman is too ingrained in my brain. So. Oh, speaking of Anchorman, because I think Adam McKay was involved in the movie. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe it's a different movie I'm thinking of. I watched the Beanie Bubble movie over the weekend.
Okay.
On Apple Plus. I think Adam McKay is involved in that one. I don't know.
Find out.
For some reason, it's got Zach Galifianakis.
It has that feel, maybe.
Yeah. It's got Zach Galifianakis. It's got Amy Smart. And there's two other actresses. One's the redhead from the sister in Succession. Mm-hmm. And then the teenage girl, I've seen her in shows, but I don't know her name. Okay. I've seen her in stuff. She's famous too.
You're talking about Sarah Snook.
Yes, I've seen her in stuff.
Shayla.
I've seen her in stuff. I just don't recall what.
So it is directed by Kristen Gore and Damian Kulash.
Okay, so he had nothing to do with it.
And it is produced by Brian Grazer, Ron Howard, and Karen Linder.
From the people who brought you Backdraft.
I was going to say from the people that brought you Arrested Development, because Brian Grazer and Ron Howard did Arrested Development.
Well, I think he did Backdraft too. No, I think he was involved with that one. But anyway, it's first off, seeing Zach Galifianakis without a beard is disturbing.
Oh, it's very off-putting.
It doesn't look right.
I can't remember. I think it's called Campaign.
Yes, I remember that movie.
That's another one where he's completely shaven and he looks so weird.
But compared to even that one, I look at him and like, that's Zach Galifianakis.
Right.
I watched this movie and I'm like, dude, is that Zach? And then I hear him talk. I'm like, that's Zach.
That's Zach Galifianakis.
But for a hot minute, I was like, I can't tell. Is that Zach?
He still has one of my favorite stand-up bits of all time. He's sitting there playing the piano. He goes, I was named after my granddad. My full name is Zach Granddad Galifianakis.
I love the Two Fern stuff. I don't care what anybody stuff.
Especially when they play along and and act miffed.
Even the bad movie that they did about it, I liked it.
I would agree. It was a good bad movie.
I like the between the. So I'm a mark for Zach Galifianakis comedy. That's just what it is. So that being said, this movie has none of the Zach Galifianakis comedy in it because
it's a biopic,
he's
right?
Playing Ty which and it's interesting because they state it in the movie at the beginning.
Right.
This isn't a movie about Ty. It's about the people that made Ty, and it's Amy Smart, her character, who is a girlfriend / partner at the beginning.
Right.
Then there's the high school girl that her name I don't know. She gets hired as an intern and turns her ingenuity into a lot of the marketing, a lot of the way it was marketing, the eBay, all that stuff. The movie credits her.
And I don't know if they talk about in the movie, but one thing that the company did that was like revolutionary that had almost never been heard of before was the idea of retiring.
Yes, that was all her. That was all part of that, her thing.
Because that really ups the value.
And then the other girl is the lady from Succession, the sister.
Sarah Snook.
She plays his girlfriend later in the movie.
Okay.
And they cross all paths and all this, but he never marries. Ty never marries. And I wonder. I don't know. They don't go into the movie, but you wonder if there's more going on there in the relationship world. They don't really go there. I think there is, but they don't address that in the movie. But anyway, so the girl, the lady from Succession is the girlfriend. So later, she has 2 kids. They fall in love with the kids. He gives the stuffed doll to the kids. The kids love it. And they're like, oh, I want to name it. And so it'd be nicer if it was. And so Ty's big claim was, I invented less stuffing in the doll to make it seem like it's more lovable. And claim, so the mom there claims that her daughters inspired him for all of that.
Really? So basically their claim is essentially that Ty did nothing except for strap the name on.
He was one. Well, and here's and this is the part I'm a little confused on because they talk about in the movie is his father made stuffed toys. That was what he did, and the movie picks up where he dies.
Okay,
and he gets an inheritance of stuff from his father.
Just the stuffing from his dolls.
Well, no, I know.
I'm
whatever his possessions.
Sure.
Well, he sells all of that, and that's the money that starts up his stuffed animal company.
Okay.
The Ty company.
Because he made toys before, or stuffed animals before Beanie Babies.
So the initial financier was Ty.
Okay.
Ty was all that, but Amy Smart's character, I almost said Elizabeth Banks because I confuse those two all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But her character is kind of the one that helps initially getting that going and all of that. I forget how they meet in the movie, but it's very haphazardly.
Right.
And then they take they cut. See, and here's the problem, because the movie jumps back and forth. Like 1 minute you're in 1985, the next minute you're 1997 or 1995 or something, and it keeps jumping back and forth in the story. So that gets confusing, because 1 minute he's having a conversation with Amy Smart talking about,
and they don't reference what era they're in.
and then they flip sometimes to 1900, and you don't pay. But if you're not paying attention, you miss that. You go up to get a soda or something, come back like, where the heck am I now?
Right, where in the timeline have I landed?
yeah, and so like you're having a conversation, and the next they're jumping to a conversation with the previous girlfriend or the later girlfriend, and you're just like, whoa. So that
you almost feel like you have to take notes to keep up.
Exactly. That confuses the story a little bit.
I have a hard time following convoluted timelines.
Yeah.
And like the classic one that everybody references is the Terminator. That the future or the past couldn't happen without the future.
Pulp
John
Fiction,
Connor.
that's one I hear a lot.
That's another one too. But John Connor had to go back into the past to have Sarah and all that, and it's a whole confusing thing. But that's always thrown me off about like timelines in movies.
And by the way, if you have a problem with timelines, you should probably stay away from the Fast and Furious series, because that thing's timeline is all jacked up. They had to explain that off. When you get 15 movies or 12 movies or how many movies are up to, the timeline gets skewed.
Well, when the only way to tell the difference between your first movie and I think it was your fifth movie is that there's a "the" in it.
Yeah.
The Fast and the Furious, not just Fast and Furious.
If you're going to create a franchise like that, maybe be a little cautious on who you kill off in your shows, in the early ones, because if people like them, they want them back. And that's exactly what happened to Fast and Furious.
Now, in fairness,
they killed some people, and then they made movies, and they're saying, well, this took place before this movie. And now you got to play which movie's in which timeline, and movie 4 is 12 years before movie 3, and you're just like, what?
Right. In fairness, life killed off a few characters also.
Yes.
Real
true.
life.
But yes.
I like to think that Paul Walker's up there racing with Danny Zuko right now.
But like the Tokyo Drift movie, they killed off a guy that turned out to be beloved, and they were like, well, gee, we got to bring it. So they made the Tokyo Drift movie to get him back. And so that Tokyo Drift movie really messed up the timeline of things.
Right.
Because there was characters that turned out beloved, but then it's technically, and so that's that. I think that's the movie that kind of skewed everything in that franchise. But that's, that does happen, and I get that with these movies, but it was hard to follow a little bit that way.
Sure.
I would say the movie was worth a watch for free. I don't know, because I think it was in theaters.
You said it was Apple TV, right?
It's on Apple Plus. Yeah.
Okay, I feel like, and maybe this is just me, but I feel like Apple TV, Apple Plus has this. All their programming has this attitude of we're better than you.
There is a vein of that there, but I would also argue you're right. I get that bougie feel to Apple Plus too. Compared, even the music and the way they present it. It's kind of like
here's your sleek black box.
Like if you turn on an Apple original product and you turn the music's all like very formal or not even formal is the right word. Just it's not. It looks. It doesn't seem.
It's hoity-toity. Yes, is how I would describe it.
Piano.
Whereas your Netflix is like the streaming service of the people.
Yeah, it's like if Netflix was McDonald's, Apple Plus is like Outback Steakhouse.
Right.
If that makes sense.
It does. No rules, just Bill Lawrence directing everything.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I think they just signed a contract with Bill Lawrence, and he writes a certain way and presents shows a certain way, and their two most popular shows on the channel are Bill Lawrence products.
Right.
So everyone so I think that sets the mark for programming on Apple Plus. Like Apple Plus is like, well, gee, the only shows that are successful are these Ted Lasso and Shrink, because they put out.
It's like Lasso,
Tom Hanks movies,
Shrinking, Morning Show.
Yes,
and that in itself was kind of.
And to be honest, Morning Show was not the big hit it wanted it to be. It was, it was taking advantage of a timely.
Morning
in the
Show to
story
me
thing.
Is this? It hits me in the same way that the show Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip hit me. Is that they take this thing that 30 Rock did up perfectly, where they parodied a late night show, but they made it serious.
You know what I think, and you're close on what I think there when you said the Studio 60 show. I think the morning show is a basically poor man's version of the West Wing Studio 60. It's a guy that wants to write just like Sorkin, but isn't. Like
it's Sorkin adjacent.
Like the morning show looks like some guy that loves Sorkin so much and wants to be him, but isn't him.
See, I always got that same vibe. Like when I'm watching a show that like Peter Gould, so like Better Call Saul, or gosh darn it, his name literally just left my head. Gosh darn it, Vince Gilligan.
Oh, yes.
His directorial...
Gilligan or Gillian? I don't know.
It's Gilligan.
Okay.
It's his directorial style is that same mindset of like, it's better than you. It's high gloss.
Sure.
But it also has enough grit where it kind of appeals to the everyman.
Sure.
Whereas I feel like most of the stuff on Apple TV is like, it's got a certain like...
Well...
you're not ready for us.
Yeah,
you're not in our class.
But like even like some of the comedies they try are a little like Mystic Quest was one of these ones that they tried, and I watched a couple episodes, and it's like, and I don't think Bill Lawrence is involved with that one, but it's like they tried to be Bill Lawrence,
right?
And it didn't work out. Matter of fact, I think Ahmed or something's in it. One of the Community guys is in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They tried. It just doesn't resonate. I watched an episode or two, and I just like.
I wonder what happened to Danny Pudi. It's like you don't really see him much.
Yeah. And it's just, and to be honest, it's they've tried, they've invested money, like the Tom Hanks movies. There's a couple movies that were Apple Plus exclusive. We watched them because they were Tom Hanks. In the lexicon of Tom Hanks movies, they are probably at the bottom of the barrel for me.
Well, give it time, because I just found this out. Mattel released a list of movies based on toy franchises that are currently in the works.
Now the Barbies made a bunch of
Barbie
money.
was so successful. And it's everything from Barney to Polly Pocket. There's a Hot Wheels franchise that they're working on. I can't remember if it was Hot Wheels.
They already got a TV show on
Hot Wheels or Matchbox. One of those two has Vin Diesel attached.
Well, if you watch network TV on the regular right now, because of lack of programming, there is a show that's got some legs. And it's a reality show, and it's a Hot Wheels.
Oh, I've seen it, where they have to build the Hot Wheels cars.
Yeah, it's basically mechanics building real-life Hot Wheels cars.
But also in the process of making movies based on Magic 8 Ball.
Wow, that's a bit of a stretch.
And you're going to love this, from the writer of Cocaine Bear. The reason I bring up Tom Hanks, though, is one of the franchises they're working on is based on a toy line from the 1960s called Major Matt Mason. And it's already got Tom Hanks set to star.
Okay.
So there you go. I never heard of Major Matt Mason, but that's one of the movies Mattel's working on.
Never heard of it either.
As well as Uno, Viewmaster, and Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends.
Viewmaster?
Yes, Viewmaster.
Wow.
I know.
Wow, we're just taking... these are just dumb toys.
Yeah.
I mean, and to put a whole story around a Viewmaster?
Well, I wonder what they were going to do with the Tetris... I know we got to go, but I wonder what they were going to do with the Tetris movie, and they actually knocked it out of the park, making it about the creation of the game.
Yes, which is interesting.
It totally is.
I watched the Men Who Built, or what is the Toys That Built America episode on Tetris. It's a very interesting one because it's a Russian that designed it, and it was still during the Iron Curtain and all of that stuff.
There's a whole thing with the U.S. or the Soviet Union actually claiming it for their own.
Well, and the guy worked for like the Soviet. He was a big computer analyst guy for the Soviets,
right?
And so he's doing his government work, and on the side, under the cover of darkness, using the Soviet state-of-the-art computers to design his Tetris game.
To design, let's face it, the most addictive game of all time. If I see a game of Tetris, I have to play it.
Yeah,
I'm very much in that vein. I
like
play
it.
Tetris.
I have other addictions games that get me more than that one, but that one, and I think might be because of my mother.
Okay.
I hated that game because my mother liked that game, and she would bogart the Nintendo for 12 hours at a time to play Tetris while I didn't get to play.
It's the same reason I hate the game Dr. Mario.
I'm not a big Gauntlet fan either because my mom, weirdly enough, loved that game and could kick anybody's butt in Gauntlet. Gauntlet of all games. You remember that game with the big maze? There was thousands of zombies, and you had to get from the one end to the other.
I was bad at it.
And there was like 1,000 different levels and all that. My mom kicked butt in that game.
That's funny. It's always weird looking back at the video games your parents were good at. My mom, she would for hours play Dr. Mario on the SNES.
Yeah, my mom liked the regular Mario, but Yeah, she was more Tetris was she liked Tetris more than Dr. Mario because Dr. Mario was kind of a rip off of Tetris.
It was, but you had like Pill Flip and matched it.
Yeah.
She was obsessed with that game though.
All right, we're gonna play our interview with John Amaste from Old Lincoln Days here in just a bit. This weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is those shorts are shiny. I love them. He stood up. I was like, wow, those shorts are shiny. But Old Lincoln Days and the Last Escape of Billy Kid pageant is this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the beautiful, cool pines of Lincoln, New Mexico. So we're going to play that interview for you here in just a bit. Before we do that, though, let's take a look at your weather. Slight rain chances today and tomorrow, and maybe today and tomorrow, and that's about it. So we'll see. But here you go.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have a little bit of that humid air moving into our area today, so we could get a few afternoon showers or thunderstorms. It will stay hot. Our afternoon high just over 100, and we get a mix of sun and clouds. Low to mid-70s and partly cloudy for the overnight hours. Maybe an afternoon shower on Thursday, but our rain chances are fairly low. We'll be getting sunshine and our high 100 to 105. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 76 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 62%. Winds are calm at the moment. For today, there is a 20% chance for some showers and thunderstorms isolated this afternoon. Mostly sunny and a high of 101 today. Winds will be out of the south at 10 to 15 miles per hour. For tonight, partly cloudy. Looking at an overnight low of 73 degrees. Winds will be out of the south at around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday, once again, a 20% chance at some afternoon showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. Mostly sunny, highs around 103 tomorrow with south winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, overnight low of 73 degrees. Winds will be out of the south 5 to 15 miles per hour. Then really not much talk of rain after Thursday afternoon. Friday, sunny and a high of 105. Southeast winds 5 to 10. Saturday, sunny and 107. Sunday, sunny and 106, and then Monday, when you head back to it, 101 and sunny. So, but today and tomorrow afternoon, maybe we'll see a little rain. Wash your cars. Help us out here. All right, 8:24. We're going to take a 2.5-minute commercial break. Then we're going to play our interview with John Amaste talking Old Lincoln Days. That's up next. Don't go away.
Hey, this is Jennifer from Trustmark Roofing. Every storm chaser's worst nightmare. You know storm chasers, those out-of-town roofers that descend on neighborhoods after big storms. They come in, do a crummy job, then poof, they're gone forever. Well, a few years ago, our area had a hailstorm, and right on cue, storm chasers showed up. I was driving home from work one evening and saw one talking to an elderly lady on her porch. I said, "Not today, buddy." I did a U-turn, pulled in the driveway, and walked right up to them. I warned the woman who they were talking to, and I chased away the storm chaser. The woman's daughter called me later and said a storm chaser ripped them off a few years ago. She thanked me for stopping this one and chose Trustmark for her roof. Trustmark Roofing. Every storm chaser's nightmare. Every homeowner's champion. Call today for your 20% off coupon for our spring and roof gutter maintenance service. 575-755-ROOF or visit TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first. Hey, New Mexico. Experiencing issues keeping your office technology up to date with these crazy supply chain issues? Well, DSI is here to help. We've diversified our products and solutions to help your business not just survive, but thrive in any situation. Have your teams collaborate and share with high-def video walls and interactive smart panels. With free unlimited support, the fear of any new technology is a thing of the past. Contact DSI today to upgrade your workspace. www.dsinm.com.
Do you struggle with acne, eczema, or worry about skin cancer? Research suggests that 1 in 5 Americans will develop skin cancer by the age of 70, but when detected early, 99% of skin cancer cases are curable. At Epiphany Dermatology of Roswell, we place special emphasis on prevention, screening, and treatment, so schedule your annual skin exam by calling us at 575-208-7050 or by visiting our website at epiphanydermatology.com and get checked today. Prevention is key.
Grab your dancing shoes and head to the Liberty in Roswell for Country Dance Night, Friday, August 4th, featuring the Colt Gibson Band. With special guest, Fabian Romero. Doors open at 6, show starts at 7:30. Get tickets at thelibertyinc.com. Don't miss Country Dance Night with the Colt Gibson Band, Friday, August 4th, 6 p.m. at the Liberty in Roswell.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Astronauts are not allowed to eat beans before they go into space because passing wind in a spacesuit damages them. The suits or the astronauts? Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 7:37, and joining us on the phone this morning, going to talk some old Lincoln days and last escape of the Billy the Kid pageant, which is happening this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in beautiful Lincoln, New Mexico. Joining us on the phone this morning is John Amistad. Did I say that right, John?
Yep, that's close enough.
Awesome.
Pretty good.
Yeah, close enough for government work. My dad was in the government for years, so I know that saying. So.
Close enough for government work.
Good deal. Well, first off, John, good morning. Thank you for spending a few minutes with us here. And for folks that don't realize, I always say this every year. One of my favorite things each year is the first weekend of August when the town of Lincoln, New Mexico, opens its doors to the whole state and just basically turn the entire town into one big celebration and recognition of the history and the people that call that area home, all these years. And I mean, we talk about Billy the Kid, but to me, it's really a celebration of the way of life in southeast New Mexico during that time.
Oh, I think that's absolutely right. And I will say, we open our doors not just to the state of New Mexico, but we track who comes. And we typically have 20 to 40 different states represented, and often as many as 20 different countries.
Awesome. So you kind of getting you guys are getting right at the UFO festival level of spread out visiting representation there. That's pretty cool.
That is right.
Yeah, good deal. Now, for folks, it's really 3 days of all kinds of stuff, of learning stuff, fun stuff, and concerts and music. But I would say the highlight, the big event that kind of is the high watermark of each Old Lincoln Days event is the last escape of the Billy the Kid pageant, and it is there on the pageant grounds. If you've ever been to Lincoln, when you go to the courthouse, you see a little area that kind of looks like an old West town. Kind of you see them behind stockade fence there and all that. That's the pageant grounds, and that's where they do it every year. And this is what I think I saw 80th or 81st year?
82nd year. There were a few years skipped, a few years for World War II and a couple of years for the pandemic.
Gotcha.
It began in 1940.
And from what I understand, of course, Kent McInnes and I used to chit-chat every year about this, and of course, Kent's off doing kind of on to different things right now. So, but
right, he has.
But I'm sure he'll probably be here in spirit if he's not going to pop in for the weekend. But
I think he'll show up.
But him and I were talking, and it was the actual script, the actual script that is used by the actors and performers for the pageant was actually written by people that were walking the earth and a part of this when the Lincoln County Wars all took place. And so
well, not quite.
Okay.
The script itself has an interesting history because it was written by a team of WPA writers.
Oh, okay. So back in around the time of the
end of the Depression.
Yeah, exactly. The whole Roosevelt era and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's another part of that. What you just said is true, and that is in those early years, many of the players were descendants of people who had been involved.
Okay. So it's a pretty old and historic script, and got its own history in and of itself, but not a little bit different than what I was saying there. Interesting,
yeah, but close enough.
Close enough. But this is the part I love about it is everything seeped in history with, and you compare that with the actual seeing the places and in some cases the structures of which that were there at the time of the Lincoln County War and when this, the highlight, that week long, where it was basically fighting in the streets for a week,
Well, that's right.
I mean it's that's why I love going to Lincoln anytime. But when you have it during this weekend, it kind of adds to the lore a little bit to me.
Well, that's right. I mean, and people can say, "Boy, I'm standing exactly where it happened."
Yeah. Yeah, and I always tell people this, and I'm assuming are you born and raised New Mexican? And
oh yes,
okay.
Oh yes. My family was in the very first pageant in 1940, and my family's been in Lincoln since before 1900. So yeah, I can claim that.
You've chewed some dirt in these parts here, but
yeah, that's right.
I always tell people if you want to, just ideologically, politically. If you want to understand why New Mexico is New Mexico, as why it's a state, how it's a state, why the way we think in state, and why things seem a little different than other states, I invite you to just spend your day in Lincoln, New Mexico, and read everything. Go to the courthouse and read every single sign, banner, poster, everything. Go into the visitor center, read every single sign, banner, poster, and I think when you're done there, you'll get a real good sense of why this state is the way it is. And we talk about, because to be honest, that the whole Lincoln County War was over monopolies and beef and corruption. I mean,
that is right. I mean, it was a commercial war.
Yeah, and to be honest, that's really the history of New Mexico, and if you see why we are today, it's a lot of that stems from this time and the time before.
Sure. No, absolutely. It was a commercial war. There, despite what people think, there really weren't any. It wasn't good guys and bad guys.
Yeah,
they were all bad guys trying to make a buck.
We're all good guys, depending on how you want
to. We're all good guys trying to make a buck.
And everyone had badges, so it was it's just how it is, But that's what I love about is learning that stuff and I'm gonna suggest something to folks. The actual Last Escape of Billy the Kid pageant, that's going to be each night. There's going to be a Friday night show, there's going to be a Saturday night show, and then there's going to be a Sunday afternoon show. Now, whatever your schedule allows you to go out there, if you can spend a little time each day out there or all 3 days, awesome. But if you've never seen the Last Escape of Billy the Kid pageant, I recommend the first time you see it is either one of the night performances. And
that's absolutely right. It is much more theatrical, dramatic at night.
Yes. Now, if you're only available Sunday afternoon, go. It's great. But I think with the night being dark and the muzzle flashes, it adds a certain mystique to the performance. That
the muzzle flashes, the horses come out of the darkness racing across in front of the stage. It's just a lot more impressive at night.
Yeah, it's just it's cool either way. If you only can come out Sunday, then please come out. You'll get a few extra bonuses there if you come out Sunday with Cowboy Church and parading, all the concert, the things that are always a part of that Sunday. But the nighttime performance is just kind of a little more just a hint more. But go any one of them. Like we said. Now let me ask this. I know you have a few veterans players and things. The cast this year, are they pretty new, or are there a lot of a mix?
Well, we always have a mixture.
Okay.
This year it's probably 60 to 70% regulars.
Okay.
And 30+% newcomers, new people in the cast.
Okay.
But most people like me started out as kids running around wildly and grew up through a certain number of parts. And so a lot of us have played different parts, done different things over many years.
Yeah, I would. It's a labor of love. Now, by the way, this is all a big group of the old Lincoln Days and the festivals that happen every year is really put together by a group of volunteers. It's just a bunch of folks that love the history, that love the community, and they want to celebrate it. So they work countless hours slaving, from everything from the planning to organizing to whipping out their weed eaters and mowers and getting the pageant grounds ready.
We've been out there in the heat getting it ready.
So it really is that labor of love, and I imagine it's like a family thing where families for generations, maybe dad was in there and now the sons or the daughters, or what I mean. I think
absolutely. That's
a lot of
my
this
family. I can name a lot of other families that
and that
followed that pattern.
That adds that little bit. This all comes from a place of love and heart. It's like home cooking food, It's like, sure, it's probably it cooked a little different than the way people think, but it's full of love and probably tastes a lot better. So it's just kind of how it is. Talk a little bit about some of the other things they can do during the day this year, because there's always a lot of different like demonstrations and stuff like that.
Sure, of course, the Last Escape is the crown jewel, but Old Lincoln Days is a package of activities, and there are a lot of different kinds. The state museums, the Lincoln Historic Site, the state museums will be open. You've already said they're interesting.
Yes.
There will be historic lectures on various topics. I think maybe Marilyn faxed or emails you a copy of the whole schedule, and you can see where those lectures are at. There are demonstrations of living history. There's lots to eat. There are food vendors that come in.
If you leave hungry, it's kind of your own fault.
Yeah, that's right. No, it is truly your own fault if you go hungry.
Yes.
So there's just lots to do.
And, of course, if you come out for the Last Escape of the Billy the Kid pageant, you're like, that's what I'm here for, please come out early because, with your admission, you get a free concert as well. The Rockin' M Wranglers are going to be performing.
Yep. They start playing at 7.
Yeah.
The pageant itself starts at 8:30, and that's, of course, the magic hour because by that time it's pretty dark, which, of course, we want. There's a parade on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. And that all, they'll start with... Usually they'll start with the everything kind of getting underway about 9, and then the church services will start about that time, and then around they'll have the parade and stuff around 10 or so.
About 10.
And then there's a concert at 11, and then about 1 they'll get underway with the pageant grounds there. So
right,
good deal. It's really
right.
And here's you'd mentioned earlier, and I recommend if you've got time devoted to, if you're going to spend the day out or the weekend out in Lincoln and that area, it does cost to get into the visitor center courthouse there in Lincoln. And here's what I recommend you do if you've got the time. When you hit one of those, you can buy a ticket that will get you into everything in Lincoln, but also into the Fort Stanton facility too. And
absolutely.
And they have and a lot of people kind of miss that. And I will tell you, it is equally interesting as far as looking for history and looking at stuff over at Fort Stanton. They got the barracks there that predate from the old Lincoln days to World War I, and the history of that fort itself is interesting. And then, of course, they got the cave there, and there's a lot of interesting stuff in the museum there at the fort. And then they let you walk through the barracks, and you can see the quartermasters and where they stored the hospital and all the things that over the years that served as a fort and the different variations of it. You get to learn that history too. So if you have the time, devote time. Make sure you hit both and see all that. But you're going to want to spend most of your time in Lincoln there because that's where all these demonstrations, the different walk talks and things like that, to just really talking about life and culture in Lincoln during that time. And to me, that's what I love about, when you go up and down and just walk and read the signs, and you almost get a mental map of how everything went down and what factions of which sides were holed up in various buildings during the week there. And so that to me, that's the fun part, integrating that by, the way, here's a big thing of roasted corn and here's a demonstration on chuck wagon cooking. I love all of that. And so now, tickets for the pageant itself are very affordable. $10 for adults, I believe $5 for children.
Right.
I don't.
Kids under 5 free.
And I know you can get your tickets at the pageant grounds. Is there any advance tickets, or is it all just done at the pageant grounds that day?
I think you can. I'm not involved in that part of it, but I think you can get them online.
I know. Here's what I would encourage people to do. What I was looking online is they're kind of steering you to the Old Lincoln Days Facebook page.
That's right.
And if you just type in Old Lincoln Days, maybe type in an
Billy
NM
the
in
Kid
there.
Pageant.
Billy the Kid Pageant. Either one of those will get you to the page, and there you have more information on how to contact or anything like that. But for the most part, if you just come with your $10 on the right before the event,
you'll be fine.
You'll be good to go there. So
that's right.
It's all volunteers, and it is the Old West, and we still do things the Old West way there. Things like technology aren't always going to be available. So
no, and cell phone service is very sometimes on occasion here.
And I gotta and to be honest, I have not said it yet, which is surprising for me. And the way our life has been over the last month or so here in Roswell, I need to put a big emphasis on this. Guess what?
I know what you're going to say, and I was going to say it too.
I haven't said it, but I usually do. Guess what? Lincoln, New Mexico's always 20 degrees cooler than it is here in Roswell, New Mexico. So when it's 105, it's like 85 there, 90, and it's in the mountains and the cool pines, and you stand in the trees, and there's all kinds of shade. So it's actually cooler than it feels. And if you're looking for a respite from these desert-like temperatures, a trip up to mountains will do your body good.
Right.
So,
and the one other thing that you might say, for just in case somebody doesn't know how to get here from Roswell.
Yes.
Just go out West 2nd and keep going till you get here.
Yes, exactly. When you're going to be on the highway to Ruidoso, at some point you're going to see some signs to turn right onto the highway to Lincoln, and you follow that, and then when you hit a part where it says slow down, that you probably hit Lincoln. And if you don't,
see a lot of cars.
Yeah, and if you don't slow down and keep going, then the next time it tells you to slow down, you'll hit Capitan.
Right.
Which, if you got some time, is another great place to visit. So
that's right.
Go learn about Smokey the Bear that weekend. So, but that'll be another weekend. They usually do their festival. But if you're out maybe if you're new to the area and you've never been up to Capitan and Lincoln and Alto area, definitely make a family trip up there and use Lincoln as your base for the weekend, because it's really a great thing. It's just it's a lot of fun, and trust me, Old Lincoln Days is so cool, and especially if you've, like, maybe you, depending on a certain age, and you watched like the old Young Guns movies and things like that, and those are works of Hollywood, but there are sprinkles and trails of history throughout.
Oh yeah, there parts of it are not too bad.
Yeah, and so and I think that kind of lights up the interest when you're like, oh wait, this is the courthouse in the movie where they did this is where it actually happened in the real, and you're like, oh cool. So I think it excites people that way too, or when you see the even when you're driving, if you don't turn at Lincoln and you go the long way to Ruidoso and then cut back through, you can see the Tunstall murder site there, and you can pull over and look at all that. Of course, if you're going from here to Lincoln, you're going to turn off before you see that. But if you do go on to Ruidoso, you'll see it. But I love that. That to me, that's so cool. When I see that, I think that every time, and because I grew up in Maryland, I didn't grow up here, so I've been here about 20 plus years. But Young Guns was my portal into Billy the Kid. So when I'm like, oh dang, this is where that took. This is that where and that was. And since then, I've learned a lot. But I got interested because I saw a Young Guns movie 30 years ago.
Well, that's how a lot of people get interested, actually.
Absolutely. So, John, is there any information we wanted to share that we just skipped over or didn't get a chance to?
Well, we talked about the admission. We talked about the schedule.
Yeah.
We talked about the activities. I guess the only thing I would say is, yeah, it is quite a bit cooler here.
Yes.
But because of the altitude, the sun can be strong. Wear a hat.
Plenty of water. Plenty of water and plenty of sunscreen.
Plenty of water, wear a hat.
Yes, wear a hat would be your friend. Why do you think they all wear the big cowboy hats? They're functional and stylish.
That's right.
John, thank you very much.
They had a purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they do have a purpose to keep the rain off your head and the sun.
Right.
Well, thank you, John, as always, and we appreciate it. We'll talk to you next time, okay?
Okay, well, we'll probably do this again next year.
Well, we'll see you then. We'll be ready, and who knows? Maybe we'll pop in, run into each other at some point during the weekend. So,
okay,
good deal.
Well, I'd be happy to have you here.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Rookie seventh-round draft picks don't normally make splashes at Dallas Cowboys training camp, but wide receiver Jalen Brooks has been a standout through the first week, catching everything thrown his direction. From small school Wingate in North Carolina to a COVID-canceled season at Tarleton State, and finally to an SEC school, South Carolina, Brooks describes himself as a journeyman, and this rookie camp is similar to moving to a new school.
I'm starting as a freshman, but I have a lot more knowledge now, like, what to expect. I played at a D2 and I done played at SEC, so it's going to show me the different talents and the different hunger that each person may have.
Running back Ronald Jones, suspended the first 2 regular season games for performance enhancers, told reporters yesterday the substance was part of a doctor's prescribed medication for his heart, but the league denied Jones's appeal. With the boys in Oxnard, I'm Christy Scales.
Hey, New Mexico. Experiencing issues keeping your office technology up to date with these crazy supply chain issues? Well, DSI is here to help. We've diversified our products and solutions to help your business not just survive, but thrive in any situation. Have your teams collaborate and share with high-def video walls and interactive smart panels. With free unlimited support, the fear of any new technology is a thing of the past. Contact DSI today to upgrade your workspace. www.dsinm.com.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. A chip on your shoulder? The Goddard Rockets boys soccer team might just have one based upon the All-State selections last year. Remember, Goddard had a really good season. The boys soccer team for the Rockets went 17-5 last year, lost in the semis 1-0 to eventual champion Lovington. They also defeated St. Pius, perennial power, 1-0 in the quarterfinals. No All-State selections for the Goddard Rockets last year. That's shocking. Based upon the guys returning, you'd think that Goddard is going to contend again. Kenneth Velarde, a senior, had 29 goals last year. That's a lot. Oscar Varela, 21 goals. He's a senior. And Victor Diaz, a senior. This year, he also had a dozen goals last year. Good luck to the Goddard Rockets this season. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have a little bit of that humid air moving into our area today, so we could get a few afternoon showers or thunderstorms. It will stay hot. Our afternoon high just over 100, and we get a mix of sun and clouds. Low to mid 70s and partly cloudy for the overnight hours. Maybe an afternoon shower on Thursday, but our rain chances are fairly low. We'll be getting sunshine and our high 100 to 105. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ closed weaker on Tuesday, the first day of August, ahead of U.S. jobs data and major companies' earnings reports later this week. U.S. job openings fell to the lowest level in more than 2 years in June, but remained at levels consistent with tight labor market conditions, which could spur the Federal Reserve to keep interest rates elevated for some time. Ford has restarted assembly of its F-150 Lightning electric truck and is now driving to triple the production rate, setting up a multi-billion-dollar test of whether mainstream U.S. truck buyers are ready to switch to an electric vehicle. JetBlue Airways on Tuesday slashed its full-year profit forecast, citing a hit from the termination of its alliance with American Airlines and a shift in travel demand away from domestic trips to long-haul international destinations. For the Wall Street Business Report, Bill Alexander, Washington.
Wakefield Oil Express has the highest quality service in Roswell with a 17-point full-service oil change that includes a full wash and vacuum at their car wash. You won't find a better deal. They also offer full synthetic oil changes, fuel and cabin filter replacements, and will even check your battery. Their Tunnel Wash isn't afraid of dirty vehicles. They have the best value wash in town with free vacuums. They even offer wash passes that can be used for multiple vehicles. Next time you need your oil changed, go to the fast and efficient Wakefield Oil Express and let them earn your business. 3204 North Main, Roswell.
Hey CVE members, have you scheduled your no-cost home energy audit? If not, it's time to sign up. Call 575-746-3571 to get your name on the list for a free home energy audit. Weather stripping, new door sweeps, minor repairs, and much more. Start saving money and keep that purchased air in your home. Central Valley Electric Cooperative is happy to partner with Green Metal Energy for this valuable audit. Again, 575-746-3571.
They're watching you. They see your social media posts. They follow your family, your friends, and your interests online because they're planning on taking your money. All of it. They're con artists. They'll use your social information to build your trust and lure you into once-in-a-lifetime investments with promises of high guaranteed returns. But it can be avoided. The Securities Division of New Mexico's Regulation and Licensing Department can help. Learn to spot the red flags of investment scams at rld.nm.gov/red flags or call 505-476-4580.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. China has more English speakers than the United States. They have more Chinese speakers, too. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 8:55. Got a few minutes here before news at the top of the hour. Next hour, we were going to play our interview we had with Ted Smith with the Walker Aviation Museum. They join us once a month to give us an update on what's happening at the museum and talk some military stories and things and talk a little history there, too. So we had a great conversation with Ted yesterday in the 7 o'clock hour. So we're going to play that for you here next hour, about 9:15 or so. Don't forget, and if you're just tuning in and listening to our interview there with John talking about old Lincoln days, seriously, if you've never been, you should go once. If you've never, it's really cool. It's, I'm a history buff, so it's kind of cool for me, and I know not everybody's into that kind of thing, but it is kind of fascinating when you go and you hear the stories and you kind of separate some of the facts from the lore of what happened, and it's kind of, matter of fact, I was my wife had a meeting last night, so I had an hour or so of television and there was nothing on I wanted, so I got onto Hulu and I found some show called Man vs. History that I watched, and the first episode was on some Old West stuff, but predominantly around Billy the Kid. That was the main thing, and talking about Billy the Kid's escape and how much of that was conspiracy versus a single act of a single attempt to escape, or did he have help? And if you know the stories, or basically, when he, what made Billy the Kid famous in the national spotlight was the escape from the courthouse. That's what got it in the national papers and kind of made Billy the Kid a household name, nationally. So, and of course, a lot of this, with the dime store novels and all that, things get embellished, and the kind of the story, if you look at accounts and things of Billy and various witnesses at the thing, they kind of said how it went down, and because if you've seen the Young Guns movies, you know how if you watch I think is it 2 or 1? I think it's 2 where they show the escape, and they kind of, that movie plays to the conspiracy that what he said, the part about the leg irons, his hands being small on his wrist and all this, or his hands bigger, small wrist, something, big wrist, small hands, that's what it is. And the fact that he, where he got the gun to shoot Bell, the story says he wrestled it from me. He had leg irons on and hand irons. The hands were all irons because he had to go to the bathroom, and that's what he said. He had to go to the bathroom, and he took him down to the latrine while the other prisoners were at lunch. That's when all this went down. And the Young Guns movie and some of the conspiracy, or the people that think it's a conspiracy, think that someone planted a gun in the bathroom, in the latrine there, and when he went to the latrine, he picked the gun, and that's when the account, according to the non-conspiracy folks, is, he had him go to the latrine and then came back, and then he races up the stairs ahead of Bell, and then when Bell gets to the top of the stairs, right behind him, he starts wrestling, and then he wrestles the gun away from him and then shoots him, and then goes and grabs the shotgun and shoots the other deputy out the window there. So that's right, but the people that say that's not, there was a conspiracy, he had help, are saying that a gun was planted in the latrine, that he didn't wrestle the gun from Bell and all of that. So it all depends on who you talk to and on the information and stuff, but all of that's kind of perpetuated the lore of that. Well, the lore says that his wrists were big, his hands were small, and he had an uncanny ability, and he used to do it as a parlor trick all the time, where he could get his hands out of irons and stuff like that. Anyway, we got to pause for news. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. We'll be back on the other side of news. Don't go away.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. President Biden's leading Republican challenger indicted again. Former President Trump due in federal court in D.C. tomorrow, facing 4 counts stemming from his questioning of the 2020 election. The Trump campaign says it's more 2024 election interference by Team Biden. Trump attorney John Lauro telling NBC's Today Show his client has the protection of the First Amendment.
He had every right to comment on that and act politically. In a criminal case, what they would have to show is all of that speech was not entitled to First Amendment protection.
But we're not talking. Correspondent Andrew Stewart says some leading Republicans are sounding off.
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy tells the site formerly known as Twitter the indictment was an attempt to attack the frontrunner for the Republican nomination. Florida Governor and presidential candidate Ron DeSantis tells Twitter he had yet to read the indictment. But Governor DeSantis also vowed to end the weaponization of the federal government.
Trump allies question how the former president can ever realistically expect to get a fair trial in a city like heavily Democrat Washington, D.C. One of the big ratings agencies downgrading the U.S. government's credit worthiness.
Fitch Ratings cites rising debt at the federal, state, and local levels, along with the steady deterioration in standards of governance over the past 2 decades. It notes worsening political polarization around spending and tax policy and repeated debt limit standoffs and last-minute resolutions. The Fitch ratings cut takes the U.S. government down one notch from AAA, the highest possible, to AA+, still well into investment grade.
And that's correspondent Ben Thomas. Been a struggle for Wall Street this morning. The market reacting to that downgrade of the U.S. government's credit rating. The Dow down 270 points, NASDAQ off 283. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
Crucial Ukrainian grain exports are in jeopardy following Russian drone strikes on port facilities in southern Ukraine. There are 3 ports operating along the Danube River.
The river is seen as an alternative route to the Black Sea for Ukrainian grain exports after Moscow pulled out of a UN-backed deal which allowed vessels through an agreed channel. River shipments can only scratch the surface of what Kyiv hopes to export and are more expensive logistically. Not just that, in the weeks since its withdrawal, Russia has targeted Ukrainian ports along the coastline it doesn't occupy. It's feared Kyiv's grain exports will shrink further, leading to a potential global food crisis.
The BBC's James Waterhouse. The U.S. military says an American soldier died when a truck hit his Stryker armored vehicle on a highway in southern Germany. The identity of the soldier has not been released pending notification of next of kin. News and analysis at townhall.com. Republican Senator Katie Britt of Alabama says she'll need several weeks to recover from an illness that's causing part of her face to go numb.
Doctors for Senator Britt say the sudden onset of numbness was likely brought on by the swelling of a facial nerve due to a post-viral infection. In a statement, the freshman senator writes, quote, "My condition is not life-threatening and recovery could take several weeks." Britt was first elected to the Senate last year. As a member of the Appropriations Committee, she'll play an important role in budget talks when senators return from their August recess following the Labor Day holiday. Bob Agnew reporting.
Aided by rain, firefighters have made progress fighting a massive blaze that swept through the California desert into Nevada could threaten the region's famous Joshua trees. A brief heavy downpour yesterday helped keep the spread of the York fire to a minimum. Last word, it was 23% contained. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Trace the Earnings
of Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell Talk FM. So, actually, during the break there, Sean and I were talking, and I don't even know how we got on this conversation, but he was like, "Did you know there's like a cathedral with a Darth Vader head in it and all that?" And I was like, "Yes, it's the National Cathedral in D.C."
Push his glasses up.
And I've been there, and I was like, "Well, I'd like, because there's a bunch of gee-whiz cool stuff about that place."
But I think the whole idea is like, why Darth Vader?
Well, it's not technically Darth Vader. It's not really Darth Vader.
It's just a stormtrooper?
It just looks like Darth Vader.
Okay.
But here's a couple gee-whiz facts. The space window at the National Cathedral is on the south side of the cathedral, and it contains a piece of a lunar rock.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
There is a sculpture of Darth Vader. Technically, it's a grotesque, one of the 122 gargoyles that are part of, but it looks just like Darth Vader. I mean, look.
Oh yeah, no, I saw it. I saw it the other day actually. Just in a video.
And just some other gee-whiz. The amount of money the cathedral receives from the federal government or the National Episcopal Church each year? Zero.
Oh,
no money.
Self-sustaining.
The cathedral.
Thank you for your tithes.
Yes, the cathedral weighs 150,000 tons.
Jiminy
Care
Christmas.
about that?
How can you determine the weight of a building? I guess weight of the materials.
I guess the you've heard of keystone or the boss stones.
Sure.
These are stones that are like support.
Right, load bearing or
The
support.
cathedral has 762 boss stones.
Okay,
which function as the keystone.
There's a load bearing stone, dude.
There are 288 angels atop the two west towers.
When was it erected?
It was. I'll tell you here in a minute. It was built about 100 years ago.
Okay.
The weight of the largest of the 53 bells, the Carillion bells, they measure 8 feet 8 inches in diameter.
Wow.
There are 112 gargoyles at the cathedral there. There are 215 stained glass windows. The number of people interred in the cathedral. 220 people.
Careful now. This is the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
No, it's Episcopal.
But yes, 220 people are interred in there. 2 famous. Want to take a stab at who the famous people are?
John F. Kennedy.
No.
Okay.
He's at Arlington.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I just.
One's a president, one is not.
Okay. Let's say.
And I wouldn't say the president is one of the big names. It's
Okay,
not
so
one
like a Taft?
Close.
Harding?
You're getting warmer. Little more recent.
Okay.
1900s, but early.
Hoover?
Woodrow Wilson.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Woodrow Wilson.
I'm just going to keep throwing
And
out presidents I knew.
the other, famous, not famous for acting or singing or any of that, but famous mainly because who she was and what she did despite what her afflictions were.
Marilyn Monroe?
Close? Well, no, not close.
No.
She's not an actress. Nothing like that.
despite
She's not
what her-
famous for acting or singing or anything like
I
that.
forgot that Monroe was an actress. I just thought she was famous for being famous like a Kardashian.
Yeah.
Amelia Earhart?
No. We never found her.
Yeah, that's right.
Helen Keller.
Oh.
Helen Keller is buried
okay.
in the National Cathedral, or interred at the National Cathedral. 418,000 visitors worship and worshipers come each year. And it's got 21.5 views on YouTube.
Is there 21.5 million?
21.5 million views.
Okay. Is there an admission to go through the cathedral?
No, it's free.
Oh, okay.
The Washington Cathedral is the 6th largest cathedral in the world and the 2nd largest in the United States. The largest in the world is St. Peter's Basilica in Rome.
Okay.
The largest cathedral in the U.S. is St. John's there in New York City.
Okay. I was gonna say St. Pat's.
The cathedral was completed 83 years to the day after it was begun, September 29th, 1907.
Okay.
Completed, technically, September 29th, 1990.
What?
Yes, completed.
Well, that's when they put the Vader on.
Well, I'm maybe, but that's what it says
Okay.
here. But they started construction in 1907, and it officially wasn't completed until 1990.
Oh, there you go.
That's why I waited till the end to tell you about
They were perfectionists. They want to make sure they got it just right.
Yeah, so there you go. Jeeva's
Neat.
facts for you on a Wednesday morning.
There you go. And you are Episcopalian, or you were raised Episcopalian,
Well,
right?
I'm a hot mess of a whole lot.
I'm a mutt. I'm what we call in the religious community a mutt.
I'm a Christian mutt. So I was born and baptized and confirmed as a Catholic.
Okay.
I went to Catholic school for kindergarten through first and second grade.
Okay.
My parents, my father adopted me when I was 4. I do not know my natural born father. The man I call Dad, my father, my adopted father, they got together and were married when I was 4 years old.
Okay.
My father was Episcopalian. My mother, not very religious. We were Catholic. I went to Catholic because that's what you did.
Which Episcopalian, if you think, is just Catholic light.
That's what I call it. Yes. And so I did. So my teenage years and all that, I would have qualified as Episcopalian. When I joined the military, my dog tag said Episcopalian. So I'm a bit of a mutt there.
Okay.
I'm a Christian. You can call me whatever you want. I believe in God.
Do you lean more towards the Protestant side of things now versus the Catholic or Episcopalian side? Because that's sort of like the line is the Protestant.
And this is the part of me that I don't really share on the internet, on the Facebook and on the show very much.
Till now
is I'm a Christian. I'm not, and this is where we're gonna make people mad. The Bible and religion are creations of man. Therefore, they're flawed, in my opinion. I don't need religion to be my conduit to God. Therefore, that's what I believe.
Yeah, you're a man of faith.
I'm a man of faith. I don't classify myself as Catholic, Episcopalian, Jewish, whatever. I believe in God.
I can understand that perspective.
That's where my stance is.
I consider myself a spiritual person.
Yeah.
But, I had my own backstory.
Now, don't get me wrong. I think religion, there's a role and does great things for family and all of that stuff. I have a family history, which I really don't want to share right now, of some...
Go lay down this chase, Lars. Let's talk.
Yeah, of some shadiness that went on through religion in my family that I don't...
And that's the thing,
that has skewed me a little bit.
The guise of religion has allowed way more atrocities to occur, I feel like. But I can concur with you on that for sure.
That's my stance. And when people say, you should come to my church, and I'm like, thank you. I'm nice and I want to support everything you do, but I'm not a religion guy because I'm a faith guy. That's where I go.
You're also a morning radio guy, and your Sundays are sacred. I get it.
That's the other thing. I'm not getting up early. I get up early every other day. In general, on Saturdays, I got to get up early for work-related things anyway.
Right.
So yeah, it is one of those things. But yeah, that's what I am. And I know you like me less, like me more. So be it. But I am what I am. This is what it is. So.
I am that I am.
Yes, Popeye taught me back in the day.
I know we have to move on, but Hulk Hogan has a tattoo on his forearm in like old English script that says, I am that I am.
Okay.
But the font that he chose to write this in, it looks very much like he has Jam That Jam tattooed on his arm. So that's because Jam That Jam.
Hey, could be worse things it says on your arm, Jam That Jam. I mean, so many levels there.
That's true.
It could be about music. Maybe you're just a jelly thing. I don't know.
But it's very like proper written, Jam That Jam.
The Lord saith, jam that jam. So, all right. It is, we're going to play our interview with Ted Smith from the Walker Aviation Museum here in just a few minutes. We always have great conversations with the Walker Aviation Museum folks. So we had another one yesterday. We'll play it for you here in just a bit. So I did it. The Facebook thing.
Yes, I as well have signed myself up to receive my, I'm going to say probably $3.50 check.
That's probably what it is. So if you're a Facebook user and you were a user since 2017 or
it's 2007, basically. I signed up in like 2011. I was late to the game, but
so pretty much if you have a Facebook page right now and you basically have had it for a while,
even if you don't really use it,
even if you deleted one in that time period, you can sign up for a class action lawsuit because Facebook got sued. And they have to pay $750 million out to Facebook users.
Yep.
And this is legit. It's not one of these mini Facebook, hey, tell me what your favorite color is and I'll bless you.
That's what I was thinking. It's like, did I just give my information to Cambridge Analytica again?
Yeah, probably. But they had it already.
Yeah, that's true.
I want my $3.
I was just updating them.
I want my $3.
That's right.
If I can steal $3 from Zuckerberg's wallet, I'll take it.
I think I have PayPal, but I don't use it, so I opted for the MasterCard.
Yeah, there's you could do bank account or there was several, but yeah, there's and on what I did, because I don't know the direct links, I just Googled Facebook lawsuit settlement, and I put August because there's an August 23rd or something like that deadline to get it done, and then it'll pop up, and then there's like a frequently asked question. You can read all about what it means, and then there's usually the one set I saw, it had a click here link to actually submit the form, and they just want your name, address, and how long you're on Facebook, your Facebook username, which I had to go look up because no one really uses that.
Well, and that's the thing is I had to check too because I wasn't sure if I had like an underscore or if it was like capitalized. Or
and I saw it and I was like, that's what it is? I didn't even know. It's like .58 or something. I'm like, okay. My name and .58. I'm like, okay, that's my username. And so but we'll see.
Your username is just Mike Sisson. It's just your username, right?
Well, I looked because I hit the frequently asked questions, like, what do you want to know? My name here? And it said, your username is this thing it assigned you, and you gotta, and you go look it up. And then I went and I looked, and this is what it said on there. So,
I just realized.
So I copied and pasted.
I might have accidentally signed myself up under a wrong name.
Well, maybe your $3 will go to me.
Right?
But
that's fine. Enjoy your small coffee. Enjoy your flat white.
I just want it. I want it. And then I wanted to walk around saying, I got his money. And I was walking around with the $3.
Right.
And just talk
Signed
about
by
how
Zuck.
I took $3 back from Zuck.
I'm going to go check a form.
All right. It is 9:18. Let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have a little bit of that humid air moving into our area today, so we could get a few afternoon showers or thunderstorms. It will stay hot. Our afternoon high just over 100, and we get a mix of sun and clouds. Low to mid-70s and partly cloudy for the overnight hours. Maybe an afternoon shower on Thursday, but our rain chances are fairly low. We'll be getting sunshine and our high 100 to 105. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 81 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 53%. Winds are calm at the moment. Today there is a slight chance, 20% chance of some showers and thunderstorms for this afternoon. Otherwise, mostly sunny. Expect highs to reach 101 today with south winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy with an overnight low of 73. Winds out of the south, 10 to 15 miles per hour. There is a 20% chance at afternoon showers and thunderstorms for your Thursday as well. Otherwise, mostly sunny with a high near 103. South winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday night, partly cloudy. By the way, Thursday is the last talk of rain for the foreseeable future, according to this weather forecast. Partly cloudy, 73 Thursday night for an overnight low. South winds 5 to 15. Friday, sunny and hot with a high of 105. Saturday, sunny with a high of 107. And Sunday, sunny, hot, high of 106. So maybe we'll get some rain chances. Enjoy it while we got it because it's going to scorch up for us on the weekend here. All right, it is 20 minutes after 9 o'clock. We're going to take a 2.5-minute commercial break. Then we're going to play our interview with Ted Smith in the Walker Aviation Museum. That's up next. Don't go away.
Believe it or not, your home insurance company isn't evil. Jennifer from Trustmark Roofing here. A lot of roofers make your insurance company out to be your enemy. They'll talk about fighting and battling your insurance to get you the claim you deserve. But honestly, your insurance company is a group of people just like you and me. That's why we don't treat your roof insurance claim like we're going to war. We treat it like a court case. We provide your insurance company every piece of evidence needed to get you the highest possible claim. We submit photos, videos, detailed documents, and line-by-line estimates. And guess what? Our non-combat approach works. On 92% of roof insurance claims, we get the highest amount the first time. And the rare times we don't, well then, that's when we go to bat for you. Call today for your 20% off coupon for our spring roof and gutter maintenance service. 575-755-ROOF or visit TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Grab your dancing shoes and head to the Liberty in Roswell for Country Dance Night, Friday, August 4th, featuring the Colt Gibson Band. special guest, Fabian Romero. Doors open at 6. Show starts at 7:30.
I don't want your love forever. I just need you for tonight.
Get tickets at thelibertyinc.com. Don't miss Country Dance Night with the Colt Gibson Band. Friday, August 4th, 6 p.m. at the Liberty in Roswell. When you or a loved one need medical transport, cost and ability to pay shouldn't get in the way. That's why Trans-Aero Medevac, through the generous support of the Written in Red Foundation and PY Foundation, provide air ambulance memberships to the residents of Eddy County at no out-of-pocket cost. As an Eddy County resident, as long as you're flown by Trans-Aero Medevac, Trans-Aero will accept your insurance or third-party payment with no additional out-of-pocket expense to you. Best of all, as a resident of Eddy County, you're automatically enrolled, free of charge. Because when minutes matter, financial burden should be the last thing on anyone's mind. You have a choice. Be sure to request Trans-Aero, a streamlined, personal, patient, and family-friendly air ambulance service. For more information, visit transaeromedevac.org. Trans-Aero Medevac. They really are wings for life.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. 47.2% of all statistics are made up on the spot. Is this true? I'd say chances are about 50%. Here's Mike Winters.
Hey, good morning. It is 25 minutes after 7 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning from the Walker Aviation Museum, Ted Smith back with us. Morning, Ted.
Right. How are you, Ted?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Sorry, I'm choking on that chocolate donut.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. You gotta have your tackling fuel for the day. So.
Well, when you get to my age.
Well, you know what? It's I think it's any age. We all get kind of. Oh yeah, you need the microphone. That one's dead. That one's yours.
Well, that was useful.
We do it like a press conference if you want. But for folks not familiar, the Walker Aviation Museum, it is home at the Roswell Air Terminal, the airport out here. That's where its home is. And it is a museum that is dedicated really to two things. One, the base where that airport currently sits. That was a Roswell Army Airfield initially, and then Walker Air Force Base. It was closed down in the late 60s, but it served during World War II as a training base. Pretty much if you were a bomber crew in World War II, odds are you probably spent some time in the sands of Roswell getting your training done. And then, of course, the other side is our area's history in the Cold War era with the intercontinental ballistic missiles. Of course, some of the early renditions of that were here at home in Roswell. They've since upgraded and have moved to bigger, badder, safer missiles that are in different places.
I'll tell you what, in regards to the Cuban Missile Crisis, Roswell was one of the very first bases to get the missiles.
Really?
And so it played a giant role in our national strategic ability.
So for that 8 days or whatever, they were
we're
very attentive.
Telling the Russians, if you shoot yours, we'll shoot ours. Well, ours were here. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
They rushed to get them into service, and the community fell in with it, and they made those sites quickly.
Sure.
Of course, there was the accident where the crane fell in, but
yeah. Well, there was a couple accidents. None of them were explosion related. Part of the issue with those early missiles, they were liquid fueled.
Right.
It's very dangerous to fuel a warhead with liquid fuel. While it's just a dangerous environment. The later fuel cells they do. Think of NASCAR. Like NASCAR today, they have fuel cells in there where the fuel goes and it's like stores. It's way different than just you going to your gas station and putting gas in your tank. And so they use that, and it's interesting technology. But that was the dangerous part, really. It wasn't so much that we've got a 2-ton nuclear warhead sitting on this thing. But the solid fuel. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's really safer than trying to do something that emits fumes and everything else like a gas.
Right. And that was our goal from the beginning with it. The Atlas missile was pre-existing. NASA put John Glenn into orbit on one. When the Air Force closed the Atlas program, They gave all of the missiles to NASA, and NASA shot the last one into space with a satellite payload in 1993.
Okay. So basically, all of the if all the astronauts on the Mercury missions, that's the same rocket.
I'm not sure. I'm from that generation. I should have that memorized.
Well, I know because John Glenn, all they were part of the Mercury 7.
Right.
When they went to the Gemini program, I think they used a bigger rocket because that was a 2-person capsule. So that
would make a lot of sense.
So I'm guessing the Atlas probably the capsule they used for Mercury, whatever rocket they propelled that one in, which is a one-man capsule. I bet that's the base you're talking about for the Atlas missile.
The Russians rushed theirs into service, and they were so accurate they could probably hit the planet, but they weren't sure where. Right? And they had lots of accidents.
And of course, with a nuke, you just have to be close.
Yeah,
you don't have to be that accurate.
Right. And so we needed to have something that we could be equal to them with.
Sure.
And it paid off at missile crisis. They didn't push their luck because they suspected our missiles could actually get there.
Sure. Well, and you know, and as an intel guy, I've told people this a couple times that they don't realize, like, when at the height of the Cold War, and we're talking to us and the Russians, and we're building more missiles, that the height of that. But when the wall fell, when the Iron Curtain went down and all of that, we realized real quick how way ahead we were.
Yes.
Yes, they had equipment, but they didn't maintain it. They didn't
know how.
They had all these great MiGs, but the half of them were sitting on the ground broke because they weren't working. They have a space shuttle. It just sat in a hangar because they couldn't fund it to put it up in space or work on it.
The whole socialist communist system where government controls production, in the end, it doesn't work. It turns out that it squelches innovation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why their spies spend so much time trying to get our technology. Because since there's no profit motive to create the next widget,
sure,
guys just don't want to create the next widget.
Sure. And
the end result is they're always behind.
Well, you look at World War II and you look at Oppenheimer, this movie that just came out, and it said, we took the Germans that wanted money, not the Germans that were basically put in a gulag to say, work on this.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because the Russians built a special industrial city where they took their German scientists.
Okay.
And it was a little baby Germany in there.
So they really created like a whole town for them with their...
Right.
Kind of like Alamogordo at one point when the Germans were predominantly there at Holloman.
Right. And the results show our products worked and theirs tended to blow up on the test ramp.
Sure.
The fact that we had some missile explosions at the base have an awful lot to do with the fact that the missile, well, it was a rocket and it was designed to put people in space with NASA. And it was our first stopgap. We needed a missile right now. They put a warhead on it, and it's not how it was designed to be used.
Mm-hmm.
NASA has all week to get it ready for a launch, and in an emergency, you have to pump that thing full of fuel right now and get ready to shoot. And that's where the accidents came from.
Sure.
They just using it the wrong way.
Sure.
When NASA used them, they never had any trouble with them again.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's why they train, though. And this is and this is for people that have never been in the military. This is why they do the exercises. This is why you hear all these, playing war and all these things. Military, when you're not in war, depending on your career field, but when you're not in war, you're training for war. That is your job. So if you're a missile guy or a fighter pilot or a soldier that GI here, you spend your day training for that. So if you're infantry, then guess what? You're going to spend a lot of time in foxholes and crawling through dirt and running around, learning how to protect yourself in multiple different environments.
We had a visitor here at the museum who was here during one of the explosions, and he explained to me that they only happen during exercises, operational readiness exercises. Yeah.
And that's the training.
And they're flogging those kids to get those things ready to shoot right now before the Russian missiles get here. And that's just not what that rocket was designed to do. The actual intermediate was the Titan, and it was also a liquid-fueled rocket. And they stayed in service for quite a number of years, actually. What we were building was the Minuteman.
Yes, that was the end game, I guess you could say.
Right.
In the evolution of ICBMs, that's the end game.
Well, yeah, and we had that on the drawing board at the same time. But we wanted the perfect missile, and we got it. The Minuteman's still in service. And, you know, I was born in 1960, and I'm pretty sure the Minuteman came into service in about the time the base closed.
Sure.
So it's...
Now, I'm guessing that they've probably upgraded over the years. So the Minuteman missile of the 1960s is not the same Minuteman missile of 2020.
No,
that would be my guess.
We're on the Minuteman 3.
Sure. Yeah, it's kind of like fighters and everything. Like, yeah, we have F-16s. We've had F-16s since the 70s. But the F-16s from the 1970s are not the same as the F-16s from in today's current military, Air Force. Same with the B-52. That thing's been around forever. But if you think a B-52 from 1952 looks like a B-52 from 2022, not even close.
Not even. No. And it's just an awesome airplane, isn't it?
Absolutely. So it makes sense that those evolutions and things. I actually got to go. My in-laws lived in Tucson for a couple years, and so we go visit. They have a Titan missile silo out there that you can go visit, and I got a chance to go out to that museum. And it's matter of fact, it's a unique museum. It's one of the few museums in the country that they had to get permission from the Russians, because what happened was it's a Titan missile site. They've got a inert Titan in it.
Oh,
and they have the
overflight program.
They have the
open skies.
They have the portal half open. So when Russia's looking over, it looks like an ICBM's about to pop out. So the Russians are aware of it, and so it's one of those museums like, okay, that's just a museum, no big deal, no need to up the DEFCON level here.
And that's very fair.
Yeah,
the system is set up. That system is set up so that. How to explain it? There was an event once in the 70s. And this is off the internet, right? But I'm telling you. One of our command centers had an exercise with their computers. In the 70s, those were good computers, right?
For the time.
And around midnight that night, at that command center, it started showing Russian missiles inbound. And that
might be scary.
That was scary.
Yeah.
Right? The poor old Navy captain at the Joint Staff who was on duty, I'm pretty sure he was having a significant emotional event. And but it showed 100 missiles, and then it would show 4, and then it would show 30, and it would show them coming from different directions. It's a glitch, and what it was part of the exercise program.
Oh.
And it kicked in.
It's almost like War Games with the Matthew Broderick movie. Bit.
And that's why I bring this up. You remember the cranky general saying, "I wouldn't trust this overgrown pile of microchips." Well, I'm mentioning this because we're not that stupid. We have human beings inserted at every level to make sure that never happens.
So that doesn't get confused for a glitch in the system.
Right.
Yeah.
We had multiple command centers. The very first thing the man did was check the over-the-horizon radar and the satellites. And guess what? There were no missiles in flight.
Sure.
So he called the Pentagon and said, "Hey, here's what I'm showing. I want to power down and reboot. Would you go ahead and take over?" The Pentagon, none of the other command centers showed these missiles. They said yes. And when he rebooted, there was nothing there. Well, the Washington-Moscow hotline is actually a teletype.
Okay.
There are operators on either end, but so it's not cool like the movies, where the president picks up the phone and says, "Listen up, Boris."
Right. It's not the direct connect that one would think from Hollywood.
Right. And it's
the red phone.
Yeah, and it's a very old, stable technology is why we use it.
Well, that's just it. That's some of our, the oldest technology, especially in communication and stuff. We were just talking about ham. That's why when ham radio is always going to be a thing, because when the world goes to a pot or a disaster happens, there's usually one form of communication that's going to work in all that muck. Ham radio.
You know, thanks for leading into that. I'm in the Pecos Valley Amateur Radio Club here in town.
Yeah.
And, if you've ever been interested, do it. Come join us.
Oh, yeah.
We actually have talked to passing space stations from here.
That's cool.
That is really cool.
It is very cool. Yeah, we've had Jim Tucker on a few times, and I'd love to get, you know, yes, part of it's having fun and talking to people across the planet and all that, but the bigger role is at events and things. These are the folks that are in the background watching out for stuff. If there's a run, or like when we do the Tour de Utrecht, these kind of runs and things, ham radio guys are out there just keeping an eye, you know, keeping communications open. If somebody has, that's, you know, yes, they love to have fun and do that stuff, but they really serve a role. And then a lot of times if there's a missing person in the mountains or something like that, the ham guys are out there being that form of communication for all the search and rescue folks. That's
we take for granted that we're going to have electricity, and we take for granted that we're going to have telecommunications.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact is our ground-based telecommunications, our microwave links, they're very few coming in and out of here, and the satellites, the rest of it. So if you get a bad storm and you lose this for a while, ham radio steps in as emergency communications. We have a station down at one of the fire stations, so that we can provide all the communications for the city if they lose theirs.
If others go down. Yeah.
Right. And it's not like we're intending to do this permanently and forever, but
till there's something better, this is what we got. And
right.
So, yeah.
And it makes the hobby redeeming. The original hobby was the geeks of 1902. You know, the kids who would be the computer kids today and all that.
Yeah.
These boys had found electricity was pretty new.
Okay.
And they would get out on the farm, and there was a guy who had a magazine called Electrical Experimenter named Hugo Gernsback.
Okay.
And Hugo was a man from Luxembourg who came to the States, had a whole bunch of patents in electricity. And the kids at the time, the young forward-thinking people, were sure that this electricity was going to change the world. When you consider they went from candles to you're talking on the radio today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It was wow, and it happened fast, and you know, really fast. In just 20 years, every town had radio stations.
That invention almost single-handedly changed how we live our lives. You know, that you can argue. I mean, you know, there's certain milestones in history, and you know, obviously, most people will think the internet for us here, when the internet that changed the world, but another milestone was that moment when electric. But prior to that, everyone's got candles getting around, or like, you know, work's done because it's getting dark. You know, then electricity came in, and
the next thing you knew, you had farm kids.
Yeah.
Deciding to make an antenna and a radio because they saw an article in Electrical Experimenter. By the way, Hugo Gernsback's the father of science fiction. So many people were interested in what could be coming in the future that he started publishing science and fiction magazines where people were writing articles about their fantasies about the future, and they went straight to what life would be like in space.
Okay. So they were probably some of the early versions of those, like amazing
stories.
Yeah, the comic book, you know, a lot of the stories that the kids would read in the 40s, 50s and stuff. These were probably the early versions of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they were imagining all sorts of things that we have today.
Before we actually went to space, there was all kinds of imagination.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was a foregone conclusion of these kids that we'd find a way. Come on, let's face it. You cannot go to space. There's no air. Right?
Yeah.
But guess what? Those guys thought about it, and one day they got jobs at NASA, and they figured out how to bring the air with them.
Sure. Well, that's the great part of humanity. That's the part where you like, why is humanity great? That's why, because we always want to innovate and create and push boundaries a little bit. That's a good thing.
Yeah, these kids were on farms, and they didn't have antennas. You know, they were using barbed wire fences.
Well, that's farm ingenuity. You know, that's just great. Like. And I'm not trying to get all philosophical here, but for those nerd guys to be stuck in the middle of nowhere as farmers
and come up with this.
Yeah, well, it creates, because let's face it, when you are desolate, you have to be ingenuitive, and you have to, when things break and there ain't a part for it, you got to find a way to make it work anyway. And so when you take that experience on top of, oh wait, I'm really good at engineer or whatever, the science and all that involved. Like you wonder, could they have done it if they were city boys? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, would they have to have been as innovative in getting things?
I think it came more from the country.
Yeah.
But it was all over the city as well.
Yeah.
And that caused problems.
Sure.
But in fact, these kids built a radio station, and they did a really good job. And it put out a lot of extra static, and they jammed the Navy during World War I. And in New York City.
Worked too well.
And the FBI was certain that it was a secret German jammer station. And those poor boys had to go to the interviews and said, no, honest.
We're just some dumb kids in the middle of nowhere, and we love to have fun with this stuff.
Yeah, they were on a rooftop. And
they were
took
almost
over
up for espionage charges, huh?
Yeah. but,
did they give him a job afterwards?
You know what? That's how it went for them.
Yeah. Now they realize they're just some kids and oh wait a minute. What can you do for us?
Well, the FCC gives the garbage frequencies to ham. Always has. And then the ham guys do something really cool with it.
Yeah, and then they want it back.
And they take them back. Yeah.
Yeah.
But these amateur guys are the guys who experiment, and that's why we get to have these frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
The FCC recognizes the value of folks tinkering on the farm. And all kinds of, the frequencies we're on right now were not used because they were short range. They didn't see any value in them.
Right.
And the ham guys made frequency modulation work, and guess what?
FM radio became a thing.
Yeah, and it's owed to a teenager somewhere who's thinking, well, if I cross this wire and that wire.
But here's the thing, too, and I don't want to turn on the radio, but there's still, I know AM radio stations are kind of going the way of the dodo, and we have one, but there'll always be a role for AM, too, because AM can do things FM can't.
Absolutely.
And that's... like AM stations have to power down at night. If they don't, they're because the way the signal works, it's like on a grid. And in theory, if you don't power down at night, anybody that's on the same grid as you can hear your station. So that's why sometimes if you ever listen to AM radio in the middle of the night, and next thing you know, you pick up a station that's in Montana or just hundreds of miles away, it's because that was a station that didn't power down, and you're on their grid and you picked it up. And if there's an actual frequency in your local area, that it's going to get bled out. And so that's why the FCC comes in, don't let you do that. But the AM works that way where FM does not. That's why you lose AM under a bridge where you don't in an FM signal.
Yeah. It's all around cool. And I was in a town that had a hurricane sweep through, and the fire department didn't have comms, the works. They had no electricity. They couldn't bring the doors up in the fire station to respond.
Oh, wow.
They had an emergency generator, but it was inside, and they couldn't get inside. And it was a ham guy that solved the problem. Not me. I got a call out to a ham guy in Texas and asked him, how would you handle this?
Mm-hmm.
And he explained to me that he would call a welder. The guys with those big Lincoln welding sets.
Oh, yeah.
They're little generators, too.
Oh.
So they got a welding set guy out, and he plugged into their building, and then the fire department went into service.
Nice.
And that's, ham guys learn that.
Yep.
Oh, I want to finish up on the underground thing.
Yes.
I
just saw the time. I was like, man, we just zip right through this thing.
The hotline with the Russians.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when this event happened, Strategic Air Command went on to alert immediately.
Okay.
Just to be safe. Well, lights came on at our missile silos everywhere. And the Russians called up and asked, what's going on?
Hey now, what y'all up to up there?
Because we tell the Russians when we're going to have an exercise so we don't have a mistake.
Right, so then
And they do the same. And this was not a scheduled exercise. And the Russian president wanted to know if he had done something to offend us and how he could get this fixed right now. Okay. And that's what, and the movie was, War Games was, I'm looking for the phrase and it's not with me right now, was a warning for sure.
Sure.
A cautionary tale.
Sure.
And a good one. But the public needs to know that we don't run those risks.
Yeah, you look at war games, you're like, okay, in theory that's possible, but
no Skynet.
It's not that easy.
No Skynet. I mean, we knew from the very start. You know, it's a machine. A computer's a machine, and
Sure.
they break down.
Sure.
And we have two people, not just one, at every level of this. You know, even the guys who press the button down in the missile silo. Oh, there's two of them. They have to do it together.
And they get authentication codes, and it's a whole procedure on a nuke there. So.
Oh yeah. You know, and those guys. How to explain? They have something called the Personnel Reliability Program.
Mm-hmm. I know all about the PRP.
Yeah.
Having been a weapons troop in the Air Force, I never served at a nuke base, but had I been, I would have been put in PRP.
Yeah. You know, if you go to the dentist and you're in the PRP, you're one of the two people at any one of these levels, then you're off duty. You don't get to go be by the button.
Yeah.
If you're having marital problems, you're expected to step up and say, look, Janet and I are, you know.
Anything that makes you unstable, they don't want you around
Potentially.
Yeah, potentially unstable. Even if you took NyQuil, they're like, no, you can't work. You can't be here until your cold's over, and you have to get a waiver from your doctor and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, you absolutely have to have two people.
Yeah.
And down in those missiles, you know, those Air Force guys have pistols.
Yeah.
It's literally to shoot the other guy. If he gets stupid and decides to start World War III, the other guy's there to kill him. And make sure he doesn't screw America.
Yeah.
Just because he's mad at Janet.
Exactly. That's how, if I remember right, when I did the Titan missile tour, I want to say they worked in a crew of 3 in the Titan missiles. I don't know if Minuteman's the same, but here's the thing. There's the one in charge who's kind of, let's face it, he's like a lieutenant. He's pretty young, but that's the one in charge. And then the other two were generally 2-stripe, 3-stripe airmen. And so these are 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-old kids, and they were put down in these holes to do it's an amazing thing to think about when at the big thing when you think about really 3 20-something kids are down in a hole and they're the line in the sand for
those teams are pretty tight.
Yep.
You know, they're and the school they go to. My goodness, the missile schools are very hard.
Yeah, they were the same training area that I was at Shepherd there. So
are we burning through time?
Yeah, we're about 7:51, so we might have to do.
Let me say something real quick.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You know, we wouldn't exist without the facilities that you let us lease.
Yeah.
And we signed our new contract through Jenna Lanford at the airport.
Okay.
And
you locked in for.
And by the way, the airport has a couple things going on that the people just know. I know you don't think of visiting the airport as a local tourist attraction for you to do, but number one, they're test opening their bar.
Mm-hmm. Food's great over there, by the way. If you don't, I matter of fact, over a couple weeks ago, I had family in town, and so we had to be up there early, and yeah, we grabbed burritos and everything. And
Reggie's back on staff.
Yeah, it was delicious.
Makes the best.
It was great.
The other thing is they put up a selfie wall for people passing through who don't have a chance to come downtown and see the
aliens and all that.
Yeah, they have a big old honking alien on the wall, and people can come take their selfie. It's kind of cute. You should see it.
Yeah.
Take a selfie if you get a chance.
I've seen a few locals on Facebook already take their pictures.
Really?
There. I've seen a few Facebook photos. Yeah.
Visitor Center is very good to us, and we're thankful. I want to say thanks again because I get calls all the time at the museum. People asking if we're going to be open. They want to come out and see us.
Great.
And Chamber of Commerce always. That's everything I can imagine. But we're talking about nuclear war again.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to do Operation Bingo next time. We're going to save this for next time. We keep getting sidetracked.
Yeah.
But here's a thing I do want to point out for folks too. Always looking for volunteers to serve in various capacity. They've got some great members on the board right now. Ted I think you're the most recent addee to the board, right? You
think so? Yeah.
I think so in the last year or so. But they're always looking for a few other folks that if you have an interest or a passion maybe you're in the military, maybe you weren't, maybe your family was, maybe if you just have an interest, love to have you be a part of that. Always looking for more volunteer docents and things, because if we get more docents and things, more than just Ted and Robert can hang out, and Bob, and then they can take a day off every now and then.
By the way, we're getting a lot of visitors right now. People who fly in just to go see that little museum, not to see Roswell on the whole. End of life kind of visits.
People that chewed some dirt here and spent some time there,
Right.
and
they're
want to
bringing
share
their
that.
grandkids around to show them where they were, and Roswell was really cool, and they liked the assignment, and they want folks to know. A man came from Austin a few days ago and spotted the beauty parlor chair in the museum.
Okay.
And it turns out that he's in the family that owned that beauty parlor.
No kidding.
And he wants to bring them out from Austin. And I told him, well, call.
Yeah.
And we'll ask the press to come out and give you some coverage.
That'd be cool. Little
and
family,
right.
family memories for his family. Yeah.
Well, exactly. And that's what this is. This is our museum here in Roswell. The town, there was so much civilian employment at the base. So many people retired, stayed in community.
It was the way of life for the people that lived here. It was their fabric, the fabric of society in the 60s, and 50s and 40s and at that base,
Yeah, sometime we need to talk about the atomic cocktail.
Note to self, we'll put that on for the list for the next time. Atomic cocktail. One more thing I want to mention before we go. Check out the website for Walker Air Force Base. It's wafbmuseum.org. And there you can go. The Donate Now button's back working again.
Ta-da.
So if you'd like to help out financially, that's a great way to do that. And, of course, don't forget, if you'd like to come and tour the museum and see everything, and it works around the flying schedule. So if you're usually around, you get there about 10:30, 11 till about 1-ish. That's usually a pretty good window weekdays to catch the museum open. But call if you want to make special arrangements, or if you want to have a youth group or any kind of group do something there.
Lots of homeschoolers.
Homeschooling. And don't forget, we talk about the history side. We didn't really touch on the STEM this time. We'll have to catch that next time. But if you want to be a pilot, you could actually start your training by just coming and visiting the Walker Aviation Museum and learn a little bit about. They got a trainer right there that is. It's an arcade game. It's a full flight simulator trainer. You could fly about 1,000 different aircraft on airports all over the world with that thing.
Oh, here's one. I'm sorry, I'm running out of time, but you got to know this.
Yes.
The Marshal Service had a plane come in.
Really?
For maintenance.
Okay.
Con Air.
The Con Air, huh?
Yeah, that's the 737.
As soon as you said the maintenance, I was thinking Con Air when you said it, and then you said it. I was like, all right, because I was going to make a joke about, did you see Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, I asked him if they're in cages in the back, and he said, no, they don't let them do that.
No.
The FAA, but
it looks so much better in the movie.
Yeah. The pilot said he's seen a lot of people cry, triple murderers who've never been on a plane.
And they scared of the plane and the planes?
And he says that's really ironic.
It is, isn't it? But it's all about life experiences sometimes, even for people you wouldn't expect. You're like, really? All the heinous stuff? The plane bugs you? Okay. It is what it is. Ted, as always, thank you for visiting. We love our stories, love stuff, and we look forward to next month when we got them. And folks, come out, visit the museum. Come if you get a chance, talk with Ted about some of those stories of family. It seems like it's almost a weekly basis now where a family comes in and you hear stories of a serviceman or servicewoman that spent some time here, and they're showing their grandkids and their kids, what they did when they were in the military or when they were here in Roswell. So it's really cool.
And that's how we found out that the runway was 54 inches deep, solid cement, because a man from the community who was a surveyor on that project came in and told us how deep it was. And we were trying to figure that out forever.
And he was like, oh, yeah, I was here when they... Maybe that's the thing. Maybe next time we get some of those through, maybe we can get I know it's probably have to get Juliana Halverson involved, but maybe record a little interview or a little something talking about what they did at their time here and all that, just to preserve it.
And we have their phone numbers.
Preserve it for just for history's sake. I think that'd be a kind of a cool thing.
It is.
Yeah. So
it is.
And then years later, you hear these stories and use them. It's like, oh, one time, and here's so and so who served during that time. So.
selling off 3 parcels of land currently owned by the city. The Daily Press reports the lots are located at 10th and Main Streets, 612 North Roselawn Avenue, and 401 Center Avenue. There are a number of other items that will be presented as part of more than a dozen topics included in the Infrastructural Capital Improvement Plan, which goes through 2029. Among those items, a new utility billing and finance building, buying a portable backup generator for water wells, and buying a fire department rescue engine and police and patrol vehicles. And there is still fallout from the recent arrest of an Eddy County former director of community services. Police reports revealed the arrest of Wesley Hooper for fraud involving a gasoline credit card. An investigation was launched after the county's audit discovered some anomalous expenses related to travel reimbursements and paid fueling charges. Hooper is now charged with 16 felony crimes. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have a little bit of that humid air moving into our area today, so we could get a few afternoon showers or thunderstorms. It will stay hot. Our afternoon high just over 100, and we get a mix of sun and clouds. Low to mid-70s and partly cloudy for the overnight hours. Maybe an afternoon shower on Thursday, but our rain chances are fairly low. We'll be getting sunshine and our high 100 to 105. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. Couple of days before the government releases the July jobs report, ADP checking in with its report. The payroll processor says the economy generated 324,000 private sector jobs last month. Starbucks credits robust sales in China for record fiscal third quarter revenue.
Same-store sales, or sales at stores open at least a year, jumped 46% in China, reversing last year's declines due to COVID infections. The Seattle-based coffee giant said its revenue rose 12% to $9.2 billion in the 13 weeks ending July 2nd, but that fell short of Wall Street's forecasts.
And that's correspondent Jeremy House reporting. Wall Street trading sharply lower at mid-morning after the Fitch ratings agency downgraded the U.S. government's credit worthiness. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
More than 50 million Americans live with chronic pain. If you're experiencing pain that interferes with your daily life, Artesia General Hospital can help. Dr. Casey Della Barca and our compassionate team of providers treat a variety of conditions, including arthritis, back and neck pain, migraines, neuropathy, and more. We offer advanced procedures and comprehensive therapy, and we personalize treatment plans to help you get back to living a quality life. Request an appointment at artesiageneral.com/pain.
Most of the problems that people have with plants comes down to basic farm management. That means knowing what to plant and when to plant it. Hi, this is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. Planting at the wrong time usually leads to disappointment and heartache, sort of like your first love. But planting at the right moment puts Mother Nature on your side, and that makes growing things easier and a whole lot more fun. So before you plant anything, come to see us at Roswell Seed, or just give it a try and hope for the best. It gives me a chance to say, I told you so.
The great one, Mark Levin, is now in Roswell on 106.5 KEND Roswell.
And that's going to do it for us for today's show. Thank you very much for allowing us to be a part of your day. Have an awesome day. We'll talk to you bright and early, 7 a.m. tomorrow.